Jake calls a shot, Spaz breaks the game. Cody's in the fray, adding to the flame. Ladders they rise, fists hit the air. Chaos erupts without a care. Triple A's warriors and XT's pride. Only one walks with glory inside. Into somewhere we scream and shout. Breaking it down, no shadow of doubt. Who's the champ? Who's taking the case? Into somewhere in this wild space.
What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, aka Countdown Ended, here with the 2025 Money in the Bank review. You know I cannot come alone, therefore I have both of my sexy work husbands with me. Daddy's a happy boy. Ladies and gents, first up I have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Cody Oneidi 316, to my left by the $1 million supercomputer. How's it going tonight, bud? It had a big feel good, go home moment for sure. That was great, and there was a lot to be happy about, and there was also some things to be mad over. So we're definitely gonna break down all the emotions. And then, without delay further, Spaz Phoenix is in the house. It's been a little bit since we had you, my friend, so I'm glad to have you here. We missed each other. Well, that's kind of the thing here. We'll go through Against All Odds, which I didn't see much of. I saw the main event and I saw the opener. So you'll kind of help me through that because, whatever. I shit the bed. Too much wrestling. Too much to watch. Yeah. What I, desperately want to get into right away is I was very concerned about you, Spaz. I was, because, as soon as I saw the women's match being on first, I'm like, no, they couldn't. They wouldn't. Would they? I don't know. So I was like, take a deep breath. Take a few happy pills. It's going to be okay. And I exactly, just taking it easy. No monster on my back. We're not being stalked tonight. We're good. So we get to the end, and then I see it, and I'm like, oh, you know what? My eyes must be blurry. I've had a bad headache. I'm very overtired. My vision must be bad. So then I clean my glasses, and I'm like, no, it's still Naomi. And I was like, fuck, somebody's got to check on Spaz. So I called your phone, and you were letting out some possessed sounding Latin ramblings. I think it was even backwards. I don't know if you were like in a trance or chanting or what, but that concerned me. And then it basically led to this, guys. So hold on a second. We'll take you to this evidence that we got sent to us. Thank you for the FOIA request. Freedom of Information Act makes everything available. So this has never been seen before, folks. Let's go ahead and take you to this awful moment.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, yes, I need help. My good friend, he went ahead and he saw Naomi win, and I think he's losing it. He's huffing and puffing around the place, and I think he's gonna hurt some. Spaz?
Naomi.
No, Spaz. I know she won. You got to do your breathing.
Naomi.
Spaz.
211 Silver Hollow Road between Lane Road and Cross Patch Road. 0933 5632.
Oh God, that's they can't really.
The chat.
No, now they can. I don't think they could hear you, but now they can. So lots of voices, everybody's heard. So I clicked it before, but I don't think it's saved. So now you're good, but that's okay. They didn't need to hear you anyways yet. Now we're getting into it. So now we have Cody. Now we have Spaz. I've been up for days. Don't worry about my slow ass. But you didn't need to hear you yet. Anyways, we had to play your harrowing 911 call because it was one hell of a just a tragic time for poor Spaz. Like I said, I had to call him and let him know it's okay, bud. Just take the happy pills. So now that we've got to go ahead and introduce everybody, so this was a decent night. It was a fun night. It was
a fun night
for the most part. We all jokingly said Naomi would win it because they'll give it to her with the new heel run. I had hoped not, just because I'm not a fan of the character. She's got a cool entrance. I like the new theme. The look is better. Like, I want to like it. I'm trying, but she still is just not great in the ring at times, and she comes across like very awkward, clunky still. It looks well rehearsed. Well practiced. I shouldn't even say well rehearsed, but
hopefully this goes well for her. I like my idea better personally with Roxanne Perez winning it, with the whole Finn using those words against her. Because you know how Liv with Dominic when he won the Intercontinental Championship said to Finn, a win for him is a win for all, so you won too. So I thought Finn would have used Liv's words against her when Roxanne hopefully won the briefcase, which wasn't the case.
Yeah, and that wasn't. And you know, I there's a lot of story building tonight and branches of what to do and where they're going, but there's certain aspects that we've got to hit off right on the top. Usually we try and save, you know, the important things as we go through, as they happen chronologically, but this is bigger than my mom, so it's bigger than the elephant in the room. Like, we gotta go like, this is the size of Titan, you know, one of the orbiting moons. R-Truth came back tonight to attack John Cena. So if they were actually going to bring him back, whether they had it planned or not, I mean, there are so many better ways they could have handled this. They could have had Truth lose the match like he did, and then at the end, John goes into the press conference and he's like, you either have to quit, or I'm forcing my lawyers on you for gimmick infringement, you know, some shit, get him fired. And everyone thinks it's a joke and be like, no, they didn't renew my contract. Stay with it for a while and then let him come back later on. They always, I felt like they rush things that don't need to be rushed, and then they take their time on the things that need to advance.
Well, I don't know if Triple H knew for sure. I thought maybe he would be able to sign him back, but then TKO told him you gotta let him go. So maybe there was no time to plan that.
Okay, but how do they not know ahead of time? If it's about money, sorry, I'll let you go. But if it's about money, if it's about, you know, what we heard that they offered him a substantially lesser amount, like a much lesser amount deep down in the bullshit. And he's like, no, I know my worth. I know my value. It's more than that. You guys can go ahead and, you know, kiss my ass for that.
When was this when were these negotiations?
I guess I guess it was all within like the same time span of him close to reporting that he's done. So like in that day span of when he sent the early tweet that was like, well, I'm fired. See y'all. Like,
well, maybe Triple H didn't know, and
he knew. Triple H knows. He's not going to not know, but I don't think he has as much say as people think. Like, they look at him like, yeah, he runs WWE, but he answers to more people now than he did with Vince being there.
Well, I'm sure Triple H tried to fight for him. There's got to be that.
How do you know? Triple H also hates the fans and looks at us as ingrates. So, I mean, it's whatever you're, you know, seeing at that moment, I guess. And the thing is, they could have had a great story, like the Summer of Punk. I'll never forget that. He took off with the belt at Money in the Bank, and we're like, oh my God, is he going to go and defend it at a Ring of Honor? Could you fucking imagine how monumental that will be? And what did we get? He came back the week after to the Cult of Personality song, and John just stood there like, what's going on? So, Spaz, please enlighten me. What are your thoughts with this?
Okay, so I'm first of all, I'm fuck the dirt sheets. I am fuck like fake outrage culture bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
Here's my theory on this, right?
Okay, hit me.
I don't think he was ever let go.
I don't think so either.
But here's the thing. Here's where I think
maybe he was.
Here's where I think
in the outcry. That's what people are saying. I think it had to be
That's
work.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's no better advertising for WWE than manipulating public outrage, fake outrage, virtue signaling.
All the wrestlers in on it?
Maybe
not.
But here's my thing, right? here's my thing. Like you're saying, like, oh, if it was all a storyline, why wouldn't you go into the press conference and say, oh, fuck you, you got to quit now. I'm John Cena. I'm a big badass, right?
Yeah.
If they had done that, because nobody's going to admit that WWE is doing anything. You know the people I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
No, nobody's gonna. They'll pick apart anything. Oh, John Cena's just he's being the same bully he is in real life.
But they can do it differently. Where John's just like, hey, I'm the champ. I call the shots. We're not renewing your contract. I told them that if they renewed your contract, that I would walk out with the belt, and maybe I'm feeling like going to Florida. Something simple. Get him out of there.
But here's my thing though. The people that want to piss on WWE and whatever.
Yeah, they're going to regardless.
But they're going to jump on it. They're going to jump on, oh, this is lame. This is a stupid story. They've done put your career on the line stories before, and like they'll shit on it for a day and it'll be whatever. What you do instead is you weaponize that fake outrage.
Yeah.
Make them think that there was a real release. Because if it's a real release, and if they have a real reason to bitch about the company, they'll talk about it for days and days and days and days and days. And what does it do? It dominates the conversation. It dominates social media. It completely overshadows AEW's like 4-hour debacle on Wednesday. And it's the entire conversation leading all the way up into this show. And all the people that are trying to shit on WWE just became a gigantic free commercial for WWE. You've heard about what a big thing they are. Oh, we're gonna hate watch because we should go in there and make sure and da 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 da. Because here's the thing: all the people, if you watched the pre-show that was on YouTube in Canada, anyways, I don't know what you guys do on the Peacock, but for us the pre-show is on YouTube and then it's on Netflix for the actual pay-per-view, right? If you saw the thing, people are like, look at what a good person I am. I'm just going to flood we want truth, we want truth, we want truth through the thing. That'll show them. No, all that's going to do is give them more numbers on YouTube. If you want a hashtag, we want truth, we want truth, we want truth, we want truth all over social media, it's not going to show them. It's going to make them trend on Twitter. So they've taken the people that want to shit in WWE's lunch bag and made them work for them by getting them on board with, oh my God, can you believe so-and-so got fired, rather than an inbuilt storyline where we're going to say, oh, come on, another firing storyline. Like, I think they've weaponized it.
See, that's not where I was going to go, though. I wouldn't have a storyline about him being fired. I would just go ahead and have John, do the out of character part like he did at the last press conference and just be like, we're not renewing his contract. It's not best for business. Stick with no angle, no more. And then they actually report it. Dirt sheets everywhere. They didn't renew his contract. So there's reality behind, there's truth behind the truth.
The problem with that, though, and this is a conversation that I actually agree with, WWE and TNA is the same way. They can't decide whether their press conferences are real or kayfabe because they do both. Triple H comes out and talks about the numbers and the advertising and whatever. And then characters talk about what they want to do character-wise and whatnot. But then all of a sudden, suddenly they're not in character anymore and they're giving each other credit for Roddy Raw. As soon as, I don't care how real you want to make it, if there's a press conference and it's televised or it's on a stream or if it's on YouTube or whatever, and one character is doing something to another character, yes, it's John Cena, he's on a power trip, whatever. As soon as it's one character doing it to another character, they know it's not real.
Exactly.
And at that point, the dirt sheets reporting on it would be like, oh, the dumb dirt sheets got sucked in. They had truth go out and do a very respectful what do you call it, like, hey, thanks for all my time,
bowing out
for all you guys support. I'll get in touch with you guys later on and let you know what I'm doing next. That
very
way
respectful
they can
and cordial. He didn't burn any bridges.
But not only that, you get a little bit of speculation going by the time we get to Friday. TNA has a show.
People want to know where he's going, what he's doing exactly. And I feel like
if you want to get people speculating, hey, maybe he's going over to TNA, because a lot of people said it. A lot of people have said, well, they're working with TNA now.
Everywhere.
So TNA is a backdoor back into WWE. I bet, because they had on Friday, and it wasn't great. I'll let you know that right now.
I've heard.
But it was the 4 members of the system versus the Hardys, Leon Slater, and a mystery partner, and the mystery partner was shit. I'll just put that out there. But like everybody was speculating, could it be truth? Does he come back? Does he be Ron Killings again? Does he go back to being the badass? People were speculating that he was going to go back to TNA and act like he got hit in the head 10 years ago and he doesn't remember the R-Truth character at all.
So
people were doing so much.
They really had the surprise be Cody Deaner.
They had the surprise be a guy in a mask called the hometown man.
Yeah.
It was pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie. I can't defend it. The Friday
they
show
definitely
was a
TNA'd
Friday.
this. They're making my googly eye go even more googly. Like this is
Personally,
painful.
Though, I could see it both ways. I could see where there was actual negotiations, I think. But if this was a work, you either had to put all the wrestlers in on it, start tweeting it out as well to promote this, or the wrestlers got work themselves.
Yeah, exactly. See, I literally went ahead and I only watched the Masha match and the trick match. I only had those two under my belt, so that's what made a big difference. But hold on one second here before we go into the next part. You guys will hear yourself for a second. Don't think you're going crazy. Where did my window go? I've got 2 screens. I need 5 more. Yeah, I loved how you brought to light, Spaz, that NXT is apparently giving AEW fans anxiety. Because I still laugh at that statement. You know, our counter booking and running against them is giving them anxiety because they can't watch both at the same time. And it's like, that's what you wanted. You wanted competition. You wanted it to be glamorous. Volume always turns up to 100.
Let me be clear. The anxiety thing wasn't. I'm echoing again.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I said you'd hear yourself. Hold on. You're good.
All right, cool. No, the anxiety thing wasn't about the counter programming. The anxiety thing was freaking Short Mike there from What Culture saying, "Oh, WWE doesn't care about any of these superstars. They're not going to use any of these superstars. They're just collecting all AEW's stars to give AEW fans anxiety. They're just competing because of anxiety.
Yeah,
they're starting to book luchador. They're starting to book luchadors and high flyers now, because it's such a contradiction to like the crap that they give AEW, and it gives everybody anxiety, and WWE are bullies. Short Mike can fuck off."
Yeah.
Not to go back on the R-Truth thing again, but he's not
go for it.
No, that's the whole point. I don't know.
No, he's not R-Truth. Because WWE just put out Ron Killings is here. So.
Well, that was.
Is it his Twitter @
No, like the WWE shop.com put Ron Killings is here and put Ron. Not
Ron the
Truth
app. Killings. So maybe he's just going back as his full name. Ron the Truth Killings.
So he's going to be Ron Killings.
So there you go. They didn't lie at all. They released R-Truth. They hired Ron Killings.
So it looks like he was going to be more serious too, because
that's
went
awesome.
After Cena like that.
That's awesome. He's going to come out smoking.
I think the comedy character is dead.
I mean, you can be a serious person and still have comedic elements. Like,
yeah, he can still be.
Is he going to be as delusional?
Yeah, I think he can still be R-Truth and be serious at the same time. I think he can still have that mindset without constantly being like a total aloof and an idiot.
Like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, like, the one good thing that Solo's done in the past little while is tapped into a little bit of a comedic element. He's still like the big group leader that's going to kick the shit out of everybody and we're going to kick the shit out of SmackDown or whatever. But there's like some comedic, oh my fucking God, how did this go wrong again? Elements to his game. And it's like, people need to realize comedy's not a bad thing.
No. We talked about that earlier today and a bit on the preview that, comedy and wrestling can be subjective, but that's why, Santino worked for me more often than not. I like what his daughter's doing. And she's not great in the ring, but she's very good. She's good at making other people look great. And that's what you need at times.
That's I don't know if he's going to be delusional anymore if they're going to go with Ron Killings instead of R-Truth.
That's fine.
If you pair anybody new with Ariana Grace, she's going to make them look good. She sells well. She sets up her matches very believably. Every time she's produced something, it comes out where her opponent looks like they actually achieved a victory. It means something.
I said it a while ago. I don't know whether I said it in a pod with you or whether I said it on a solo pod, but I think Ariana Grace is going the same way as Cora Jade in the sense of, I can't really explain why, but she looks 10 feet tall when she's on TNA
than
when she does in NXT, because she's got her gimmick, but on NXT, she's her gimmick on a show that's full of gimmicks, and they're gimmicks that we enjoy.
Exactly.
But like
Sol Ruka's got her asshole out for a reason. You know, she's a surfer. Everybody's doing something. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You got it.
She's surfing the pipe.
Exactly.
But I will say though, it was a cool little wrinkle that they threw into the Friday show, having the Robert Stone Santino match and having Matt Cardona as the referee and him getting paid off, but like the payoff not paying off and all that kind of stuff.
Sorry, I'm dying over here. I'm supposed to be drinking this because all the malnutrition stuff sets in. So I'm supposed to be drinking this protein milk. So I stole the cup because it has like the little lines on the side. And I was like, I could throw it out. It's disgusting.
Is it like the blue milk from Star Wars?
Yeah, it kind of looks blue with the green screen behind me too.
Is it
really?
Is it blue dabba dee dabba da?
No, it's skeet babba dee babba doo.
But I will say, like, not very much. Like, I say there was 3 shows this weekend. There was 2 of consequence.
Oh God, I'm gonna die. Sorry.
Joe Hendry losing to Kazarian. They're either putting him on a road to recovery thing, or they're finally letting him go take care of some like nagging injuries. I don't know which one they're doing.
Yeah. His shoulder injury was a work, but it wasn't.
It was a work to cover a real thing.
Yes. And he's having pain in that side, in that spot, and they just keep dumping him on it because, hey, we got to sell the injury, right? Like, it is funny when you think about that mindset. Like Cody has the pec injury, and they're jamming the kendo stick into the big bruise, and you're like, I know it's not going to tear more, but
I never watched the show House, right? Like the doctor show House. But I do love the bit of trivia that comes from that, of like the guy spent so much time like faking having a bad leg. His other leg actually developed a limp for a little while because he was like acting. When he was acting on the show, he had to act like that was the only leg that worked.
Yeah.
So it was the leg that got took more of the abuse, so to speak. And just like when you hear about people working injuries, and it's like, okay, you put the real injury into the fake story, and then you play up that injury. People focus on it because it's injured in the storyline, but it's in the storyline because it's injured for real. You're going to do more to it.
Like when they used to have people that were pregnant, either they covered their stomach, they wouldn't show them from the waist down. They'd have them like in the kitchen like that, and 90s sitcoms.
Well, that's where they should be anyway. But
well, you don't want to burn all the pies. But then she goes ahead and they get them barefoot and pregnant in the living room too. No, but then you got like the Full House treatment and whatnot later on. But yeah, it developed in stages. So
yeah,
funny how it works.
But it's like the Cody thing, right? Like when he tore his pec, like you said, like I will always tip my cap to like the absolutely massive effort that he put in by having that injury, doing the Hell in the Cell match anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say it wasn't dumb.
You saw me in October when my whole side was purple because I bruised my spleen volunteering at the Trail of Fucking Terror. I was scaring people.
You weren't going to the Hell in the Cell match, though.
I know. I was scaring people, and I didn't follow the red light from the Fiend, and that was my downfall. I'll never forget. I was basically just bullying people as they went through the line, like, in character.
Yeah.
And that guy just got embarrassed that I was teasing him in front of his friends and fucking pushed me down straight into the wood plank. That was fun. That was a good and painful one.
Because that's not an overreaction at all.
Exactly.
Anyways, so I'll get off the TNA stuff because
because while we're here, I want to know what was worthwhile at Against All Odds, because
the 2
I also saw the pre-show. So
yeah, so you had the pre-show, and you had the Elegance brand that now has 3 members because Maggie May is now M by Elegance, which is fine, and you get Iceman there, and Iceman's awesome. They won their match, but them as a trio, 2 of them are still the tag team champions, so they were confronted after the match by the return of the Inspiration, formerly the Iconics.
Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, formerly, and
what is it, like Cassie Lee and some whatever her real name is. So they're a fun act.
I always enjoyed
set the world
them
on fire, but they're a fun act.
Their wrestling was not as bad as people called them out to be either. They were competent. They weren't amazing, but they could deliver if you really worked with them. And it depends on who they were working with, because if someone was willing to like get in there and actually give them, like, apparently Charlotte gave them a really hard time when they had to each face her one-on-one. It was some type of setup like that.
The problem with the 2 of them was Peyton Royce was really good and Billie Kay not so much. And people
I wouldn't
started.
say really good. I would say she was.
No, I'm saying by comparison.
Even by comparison, Spaz.
Come on.
Okay. It was a lot left
Billie
to
Kay,
desire, but
Billie
able
Kay
to
was doing
rest-
backstage skits after a while because they didn't want her in the ring. Peyton Royce never got that. But I think putting
Vince told her to stay away from catering. So just saying.
No. Anyways, they're a fun act.
Yeah.
They're going to be tag champs eventually because they're running out of tag teams. But
they try and at least build up or bring up tag teams. I heard that now they want to add for AEW women's tag titles. That's why they've been doing the 2-on-2 with Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford taking on other people like Harley Cameron and Anna Jay.
I will bet you that if they do that, suddenly too many belts won't be a problem anymore.
Nope. Too many belts.
They have
AEW fans' arguments are WWE has too many belts and say they have more than AEW. But the thing is, you're relying on one roster and one show basically with the same roster, but WWE has 3 separate shows, and
they still pretend that ROH is a separate company.
Cody said, "You guys wanted our truth, and it's always our job. Everybody here, Triple H, Nick Khan, to give you what you want. So thank you guys for letting us know. Thank you." I think he means that too.
We didn't get our truth though.
Maybe it wasn't planned. He got fired. He got let go because his contract was up in 2 weeks. That was a legitimate thing happening. And Fightful reported it. Sean Ross Sapp. So did Ariel Helwani. He said it as well in one of his interviews because he was like, he was offered a replacement contract, but it was significantly lower. Like, he went from multi-millions of dollars for many years to like $300,000 a year. Like, it was something like, imagine going from $1 million to 300. That alone. But he was like a multi-million-dollar contract because he had been there so long. He's over a certain age of 50, so he gets like extra benefits and whatnot. And
I'm sorry,
they didn't want to keep him. They said it cost too much.
I have to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
To cut you off for a second. We have to hit on the head and not stop hitting it on the head. The difference between, oh my God, they just cut somebody and their contract came to a natural conclusion and no offer was made to replenish it, or a new offer was made and rejected, whatever. Nobody was cut loose. Nobody had the rug pulled out from under them. Nobody was fired on the spot. Nobody was pushed off the plank. All the things that WWE got accused of for years and years and years.
Yeah, people
and they
act
just
like
said,
it's the worst thing in the world. And I'm like, guys, you don't realize what's going on here.
But then within 24 hours, like, Carlito and R-Truth were kind of announced at the same time, and R-Truth got all the headlines, and Carlito not so much. So there's already a disparity there.
But I see more value in R-Truth than Carlito. Carlito, what has he done? He's done nothing except get speared, get hit by bad button. I understand that. That's the problem. Creative is a bitch. It's a fickle mistress.
Okay, not to be harsh. Up until they decided, let's finally put a cap on this R-Truth has been mimicking John Cena for years thing. What was R-Truth doing?
Exactly. No, he was just comic relief, but he found ways to get himself over with what he was given.
It's fine, yeah.
So that's kind of
you know what?
thing.
As a background character, I could maybe make an argument that Carlito was doing the same thing, not in ring, but as like a background character of the Judgment Day. I just think it's kind of cool. Like, if you're gonna get all, oh my God, look at how sad it is that somebody lost their job. Okay, you've picked out one person that it's sad for, and then I guess Carlito's gone.
The issue with Truth, though, Spaz, is that basically he's awesome. Yes, he's been let go, and you're like, oh, you're sad, but he's one that really, like, it was more of a shock type thing too. But
oh no, because people thought he was a lifer.
Exactly.
Yeah, so and he should be a lifer.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely part of it.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody should be like, oh, I'm good for life. Nobody can ever touch me. Like, you kind of assumed that he would be. And I'm not, Cody, I'm not crapping on you either, but I'm just saying, like, there is no thing that says, like, the promise that we made to you was for X amount of time. That time is done. After that, it's a brand new conversation. But I just thought it was so, like, people that, like I say again, like, if it's a work, it's great, because they've taken advantage of so many people's, like, false outrage, false sentiment, whatever. Because the exact same thing happened to R-Truth, Carlito, and Sarah Logan, and they got 3 different reactions. R-Truth got the outrage. Carlito sort of people brushed over it, mentioned it, and that's about it.
And
then
Truth was a mid-card guy. He was an afterthought that became a main character. Like, he was never intended to be the main guy. He wasn't supposed to be the but every time he was in a scene, he stood out. I can name, I can't recall matches for shit, but I can name and recall multiple R-Truth funny moments and things that he did. And
of course.
I remember him going on a Valentine's date at the restaurant when he attacked the couple for the 24/7 title. Like, all the things, him bringing the ladder out.
Him and Drake Maverick made the 24/7
funny,
title work.
Yeah, Drake Maverick, that's who he went up against for his wedding and stuff. Like, that was hilarious.
He was pinning people on the planes,
right?
Yep.
And Hornswoggle and all that, right? But I just, like, you can have your opinions of people. I'm not saying you got to love everybody. This is me. I'm not going to make that argument, right? But I just think Truth got all the love. Carlito kind of got brushed over. And by the time 24 hours had passed, people were like, yeah, Sarah got fired, but, like, I don't agree with her politically, so I guess that one's fine.
Yeah,
it's good,
I'm
actually.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
But like,
it is
and then
good.
it started a whole, what I like with the Sarah Logan thing is because she was off because she had just had a second kid.
Yeah.
And that does add kind of a shitty layer to it.
Yeah.
Like, go off and have a kid, you come back, you might not, because a company,
especially with women, they're always, there's someone younger, hotter, hungrier. They keep saying that. That's why LFG, I mean, people, they hired R-Truth back. I don't think it was ever planned like this where, we're going to say I mean, they could have, maybe they got us and they got us good and no one knows in the dirt sheets. And they had this planned all along because they knew we loved Truth and that's the reaction they wanted. And now look, we took him back, guys. We admit we made a mistake. Now he's going to, and they want that feel-good moment. Look at the is it manufactured, or did they just have, like, again, with the Final Boss situation last year, did they have a bad idea and then a golden opportunity fell into their laps? I think that's what happened.
Or if it wasn't,
but Jake,
they were never
I think Jake, the problem, what's gonna wind people up, and I know I just cut Cody off again. Sorry. What's gonna wind people up is no matter which is true, it still works in WWE's favor. Yeah. Either they worked it and they manipulated the very people that don't like them to be free advertising for them, or they let a guy go, listened to the crowd, and hired him back, which pushes against the entire, WWE doesn't listen to their fans, they don't give a shit, whatever narrative. So whatever the truth is, it works for WWE. That's what's beautiful about this, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I think if it is a work, though, like, they technically, like, weren't lying, as we were saying, like, because they did release R-Truth and brought in Ron Killings. That's all you have to say if they did troll everyone.
I mean, so I almost wish that he didn't have a big, like, reveal tonight. I kind of like the idea of him just being in the background for the next few weeks, being like, finally someone comes up to him with, like, security. They're like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "I'm here for work." Like that kind of thing.
See, I think there's a halfway middle ground with that. I think there's a halfway middle ground with that.
Severe.
If he had done the attack tonight and not unmasked, and then, like, the next pay-per-view or the next build up to the next pay-per-view that John Cena is gonna face, I don't know, fucking Gunther or something like that. He's staring down Gunther and they're having a promo and the random masked person, like, decks him again. Yeah. And then he decks him again I know they don't have a lot of time to play with, so maybe like 2 weeks later, whatever. Yeah. And you finally figure out, like, Cena comes out, doesn't know who it is, has to play dumb, obviously. He's like, "Whoever the fuck you are, I'm gonna see you at SummerSlam."
Who's in my bedroom? How'd you get in here?
No music, no nothing. You see him come in, like, all covered up and whatnot, and the match is about to start. He pulls off the mask, and it's the R-Truth rematch. Like, they could have stretched that out. I still would have done the attack tonight and have it be nobody says it on TV, but then, like,
is it going to be a split personality kind of thing, though? Like, where
it could be funny. I don't want it, but it could be funny. It all depends on how much leeway they give him and how much rope he has. So Mania in Vegas is very dumb. I am very unhappy about this residency in Vegas for multiple shows. They want it there once every minimum 3 years, sometimes back to back. That takes away half the fun of Mania, where it's always been, new every year. You're touring. Now it's just going to be back to back Vegases because they can get a cheaper rate. And there's a concert already booked that's like, no, we're not moving. We can't move. We don't. And they're like, come on, we'll give you the dome. And they're like, fuck your dome. Dome my balls, bitch. Like, they don't want to deal with it. It's been a shit
Dome
show.
my balls,
The
bitch.
bitch.
Jesus Christ.
It's just a corporate fest now with WWE. That like tonight you can see sponsor here, there, and everywhere.
You can tell we're at peak physical, mental prowess condition.
I'm not against the people that are against the advertising. Personally,
I thought you were going racist
me.
with that one. Jesus, you scared me.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not.
I don't
against
mind
the
advertising, but I've never liked it on the ring. I don't like it on the ring, Matt. It's just not for me.
I think I'm the opposite. I think what bothers me more is the stuff that pops out. Like I don't like the LED guardrail anyway.
Okay.
Like I think it's way too gaudy. It looks like a video game, whatever the case may be.
Over the place.
They just put like
not even that, even
pictures all over. It's weird.
Not even that. Like even when it just has the Raw logo or if it just has the pay-per-view logo on, I don't think you need the guardrail to be an LED screen at all. Period. Like it bothers me. So it bothered me before it had ads on it. So my issue isn't the ads. Right. My issue is that it's the same with the LED ring posts and shit.
I had no issue with it at all, honestly. I didn't mind the LED boards, even when they took the posts and turned them into like the LED posts with the extra siding. I was like, let's go ahead.
Everybody go
I think it makes it look a little bit like a playground. I'm not gonna lie.
But you know what? That I could take. What I can't take is, as I said before. Oh God, there's like, you know, it's that continued fucking just extreme level of bullshit, and.
The stuff on the mat doesn't bother me at all. Like I got used to it in like 2 weeks.
It's the bullshit. It's the in talk advertising, like you said. The I love drinking cold, delicious Mountain Dew in the morning. Like, you know what, they're all standing there. Mountain Dew is great. Like you already have to go to 3.5 minutes of commercials, and then you're advertising some product or some upcoming show, or like you're just being advertised to. Constantly. And I know that's kind of just a way of life nowadays, but even when you're watching the match, you get a ticker of Prime and there's stuff going, like it's just, you're constantly being bombarded with ads with Raw. And yes, you have your commercial breaks, you have your Netflix deals, all that, but now we have to waste time for them to highlight, oh, what celebrity's here because they have a Netflix show or movie or special coming out. Oh, it's Dan Soder's dead dad. Hey, it's Louis J. Gomez.
I get it. And the problem is celebrities themselves are shit now. But like,
oh God, so bad.
I have this conversation on Twitter a lot, which is hard because you can't gauge the attitudes of the people you're talking to on Twitter. The existence of celebrity in wrestling, has existed since WrestleMania 1.
Yes.
Like you had a celebrity in the main event of WrestleMania 1. So let's not pretend that it's a new thing.
But even before WrestleMania 1, they were including, I mean, Gordon Soley did it time and time again. You know,
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen it with
that
Memphis.
Kind of
we've seen it exactly.
I think it's just it bridges entirely on these days because I'm gonna get on a soapbox here and I'm way too tired to do it.
Give it to me as much as you can.
We are so specific in our I want everything I'm watching to be exactly what I want it to be. Like if what's her name? If Caitlin Clark showed up on Monday Night Raw, I'd be like, hey, cool, look at her. It's the face of the WNBA. Don't question me. It's fine. If I don't know, like if Logan Paul's in the company already, but if Jake Paul showed up for a night, people are gonna groan, and it's like, oh, it's too much celebrities. It's like, no, you don't like the celebrity that showed up this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has a celebrity that like when what's his name, the old fucker from Price is Right,
Bob Barker.
I shouldn't have said old
wrong,
fucker.
That was really rude. He's old and gone.
But that was not because anybody hated Bob Barker. It was because the weekly host thing got a bit old. But like, that
was a great segment with him and Jericho, and like that was fun. But there were other times where we had hosts like Hugh Jackman with Zack Ryder was fucking terrible.
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman wasn't bad.
The Hugh Jackman thing was one of those things.
MacGruber was
the
fucking.
Hugh Jackman thing I thought was cool because it was one of those things that was like so lame you might as well roll with it. But again, it goes to the point of
because he was promoting
like,
that stupid lame robot fighting movie, you know.
But treat it like anything else. Don't say we just don't want any more celebrities in wrestling. Okay, Bob Barker showed up. It made me laugh. This guy showed up. It didn't make me laugh. Yeah. But like, I think we're at the age now. Like, I'm sorry, but like, nobody went to WrestleMania 1 and said, "Oh, I got to see
Mr. T." Yeah, and
yeah, like who else? Who else was boxing?
Cyndi Lauper is going to be out here. She's coming to the ring as a manager. Yeah. Fuck, I hate time after time. Hold on, I want to give a little love to the chat really quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, but there was a good point here. Pico said Seth could cash in on Gunther on Monday, leading to Gunther's face turn, which could be interesting. I want to come back to that because that's something we don't know. Seth is definitely the X factor here with that match on Monday between, Gunther and Jey. Jey is all beat to shit. So he said the smart thing to do would have been to have a face bloodline with returning Roman against the Seth faction. That way Solo isn't buried. Yeah, but Solo's fucked already. He's been buried for quite a while. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how that cookie crumbled.
Triple H said at the press conference that R-Truth's release was all part of the show.
So it wasn't real.
Let's go.
So he never really got fired, and they just wanted to get a response from the fans for an outcry of support that loved him. People are going to be pissed if that's the case.
I think it's funny that he did that, but...
Are you sure he said that? Because people are going to hate him for faking that truth. That's something.
I'll send it to you on Spaz, or I'll send it to you on Spaz.
They just said 59 seconds ago, the greatest work in WWE history, R-Truth, Money in the Bank.
Let's go.
But you know what I know? What about Carlito? Because that wasn't a work. He's like, did they bring me back? Guys?
Yeah, but Carlito's already a champion in his own freaking company now.
Carlito could have that same gimmick though, where he still just shows up. Like Carlito, you're not supposed to. He has that dumb character now too, where he.
Cody, you know what's gonna happen. He's gonna be. Forget Carlito. He's gonna be Carla. He's gonna be up there at a trans bar dancing. He's gonna be. Oh, you want to watch me spit apple? I spit apple a long time. You want me to spit apple?
I spit on your apple.
Somebody will come in and be like, Carla, and they'll be like,
grapes now.
I don't know. You want me to spit apple?
Fleshy sword fights for everybody.
There's no bananas left.
Here's the thing, though. Like you mentioned the match coming up tomorrow on Raw. I think there is a really cool the Jey versus Gunther.
Yes.
I think there's a really cool thing you do with Jey, because Jey's going to lose the title. I think you have to wear him down to where there's like a thread left, and Seth Rollins just plucked the thread. I don't think they put it on Gunther to give it to Seth. That's just my prediction.
I don't think they would give it to Gunther to give it to Seth either, but I think they would give it to Seth from Jey if he got the chance to cash in tomorrow or Monday. I always think it's.
But here's the thing:
I'm used to Sundays.
Just end in a DQ, so Gunther doesn't get pinned entirely. Then Gunther just goes on a rampage because of the DQ. And
I think they're going to have Jey written off in a way because they're going to be like, hey, with all the matches he did recently and all the beatings, he's got intestinal diarrhea, and he needs to be taken to the local medical facility for shots of insulin into his eyeballs.
Okay,
says Dr. Jake.
Here's what you do. I know you've been doing a lot of doctor's duties recently.
I have been. I've been busy.
You start off the night with Cody and Jey coming out, talking about their win tonight, etc., celebrating. We're gonna get stuff back on the right track. Cena can't take wrestling from us. Cena, Logan Paul come down. I don't know if Cena's supposed to be on Raw, but his ex-girlfriend is going to be there. We can talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
but here's what you do though.
How great is that? Nikki Bella is going to be there.
I've got thoughts, but here's what you do. These guys are pissed. Their plan is falling apart. They come down. They put a beat down on Jey because Cody's gone back to SmackDown or whatever. He comes out to do the Raw speech at the beginning of the night. We got the win last night, but I got to refocus. I've got my main event tonight with Gunther. I never took my eyes off you, whatever. Logan Paul, Cena beat him down in the opening segment. The story going on through the rest of the night is he going to be cleared? Is he going to be cleared? Is he going to be cleared?
Able? Yeah.
The doctors don't clear him. Gunther even says, you know what? He's not my favorite person, but the mat is sacred. I'm not going to take it off a beaten man. Jey gets in his face and says, no, fuck you. We're doing the match anyway. I'm not going to let you walk away like that.
Yeah.
He scrapes through the match with Gunther. Gunther pounds the ever-loving shit out of him. He scrapes by once again by the skin of his teeth. End of the night, Seth Rollins comes out with the briefcase, doesn't run down. It's not a run in, whatever. He just snaps his fingers. Whatever's left of Jey Uso gets spear, tsunami.
Yeah.
And Seth basically comes in and drops the case and his foot on the corpse. And that's how he walks away with the title.
So
it's the absolute downfall of the hero.
That would be great. That would be exciting. Really quickly, I don't want to forget this. I'm sorry. So we have John Cena's remaining schedule because we know he's going to be on Raw on Monday. Liz says no.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was scheduled to be. So we've got up until here. So he's scheduled.
So my idea could happen.
That's what I'm trying to that's what I'm trying to punch in. So look, the 7th was today. He's going to be there on the 9th for Raw in Phoenix. He'll be there the 13th. Danny graduates Friday. In SmackDown, Danny. And then he'll be on SmackDown the week after, and then we won't see him again all the way until he's not going to be, I guess, at Night of Champions, which we know is coming up, and he's not going to be involved in any of the Saturday night's main event, Great American Bash, and Evolution card. We're not going to see him till the SmackDown right before all of that. In Texas, right before they do the full takeover, because it's the 19th and 20th or whatever. And then in August, we've got, both second and third, both nights at SummerSlam. He's going to be there. So that's interesting that he's there for both nights. Then we've got SmackDown, and then he's in Paris for the Clash. And these SmackDowns are in Canada, Montreal. So then we got Dublin, Ireland, Lyon, France, and Paris, France. And then as we finish up here, December.
Montreal's not really Canada.
Yeah, no, But hey, October, we got Perth, and then Perth again. So the 10th, 11th, and 13th. We got Perth, and then to be determined event in Boston, Massachusetts. So it's Saturday night's main event, and that's going to take place. I believe they said, I think it's the 27th or the 20th for Saturday night. I think it's the 27th, but. That's supposed to be.
I'm really surprised. Like, I know they want to push the Saturday night's main events and make them a thing. They're definitely already not a thing.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. Like, I don't want to take from the AEW playbook, but what they did for Sting and basically calling it Sting's last match, I'm surprised they haven't done that for John Cena.
Yeah, I know. I'm surprised.
They could even play it off as something that he demanded.
Really quickly, I want to play this clip. Let me turn the browser on for a second, guys. Hold on here. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I'll try and get you to be able to hear. Let's see here. Hold on. I messed up. I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Add source. Hold on. I fucked it up. All right, there we go. Sorry. I'm very tired. Smart selection. And Cody sent us this. And then I got to change this. Look at this. I am learning, folks. Ready, and you should hear it.
Being said about.
I didn't notice.
Oh, well, in case you didn't know, I wanted to know exactly, was he actually released or leaving the company, and if so, how much did fans play a role in it, or was there something else that made you guys decide, like, you know what, we want this guy still here?
I love the question. You enjoying the show? Whole part of the show, man.
Second row, right side.
Being said about.
Wow. I mean, he said it right then and there. You heard him clear as day. It's all part of the show. That is something to behold when he says it so poignantly and so matter of fact. That is a bit concerning, right? Because they really went after, because it was like, why would they fire Truth? He's a lifer. And if they did pull the wool over the locker room's eyes, you know how pissed people would be like, you let me think that he was fired this whole time just for a story? Like, I don't think they would bury that much goodwill with people to have this be a planned story. I think they let him go They got a severe outpouring of chants in every show multiple times on Raw and SmackDown, not just once on the dark match. From the start to the main event, they chanted it multiple times. We want truth. What's up? Come on. The same way that they pivoted for Daniel Bryan back in 2014 for WrestleMania 30. He wasn't going. He wasn't in the Rumble. He had nothing. It was Orton and Batista. And then the fans revolted and wanted nothing to do with the network. Cancel the network. Cancel the WWE network. Okay, let's go ahead and get... Brian, if you beat Triple H, that was originally the match just for him, one-on-one. Then you go ahead and because he was supposed to face who? CM Punk, and Punk walked out. So he beats Triple H. He goes to the main event. He wins the title. Yes, sir.
Jake. The Yes Movement was also a work.
No shit. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's manufactured, but the fan support initially wasn't. People saying they were going to cancel the network and they wanted Bryan to be there is what got them to change their mind to put him into the WrestleMania picture again. Yes, the takeover on Raw and all of that was horseshit. But the fans starting off saying, hey, if Bryan's not at Mania, we don't want to buy the network. That was real. And they panicked and they backtracked and they put him into the show. The rest of it, they bullshit their way through. But we've seen this time and time again where WWE, they're stubborn, they're bullheaded. If they know it doesn't work right now, it's going to take them 6 months to just accept it because they're going to keep their head down and they're going to keep doing the same stupid thing over and over until they finally are like, well, shit. Look at all the damage we could have caused that we could have avoided. Oh, well, let's start over. And they do it time and time again. I will have better examples that they'll come to my mind. But, you just, throughout history, it's kind of just been, infamously stated, unfortunately, yet and yet again. But
if this is entirely on board, and I'm echoing again.
Yes, you hear yourself for a second until I play this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But if they in this particular case, and I'm not talking about people that are just truth fans that are going to say, "Oh, that's a bummer. I really enjoyed his time. Hey, truth, hope good luck for whatever you're doing next. Hopefully you show up in TNA or hopefully you show up in my Fed or whatever the case may be."
Yeah.
But the people that are out there and just spend 24 hours a day doing like freaking fake outrage porn on X. If WWE was able to weaponize those people, those dickheads, then good for them.
Oh, I don't disagree.
I'm sorry. Like I may be going out on a limb. I'm not speaking for Jake. I'm not speaking for Cody here, guys. But I'm saying those dickheads, because I'm sorry, a lot of the over the top outrage was from people that have like Young Bucks or attached people in their display
why I wasn't
pictures.
Going for a lot of that. I avoided that side of it. What it was is WWE definitely pivots just later on, down the line. They've had many a times where they're going to stick to this and then, oh my God, it's not working. And they pivot and they go with something else. And they have done it a multitude of times throughout history. We've seen them repeat themselves. So, there's always that option here too. You never know exactly what they have planned.
But your very first instinct shouldn't be to pivot either, though. Like if you have
usually not. It's usually they don't pivot for months on end or they don't go with it. They fight against it until it's like
there's a medium.
Yeah.
But don't launch something in a week and let it get an outrage and say, look, you haven't even finished it. Like, like Triple H says all the things that people say are really, really bombastic. It's like you don't even know, man. We're still in the first chapter.
Yeah.
And
you're way out here.
He's been right. Like what did Heyman say about the bloodline thing? We're only in the third inning or whatever.
Yeah, people are like, how? We've been in it forever. Well, that's why. That's for sure.
Anyway, I think the truth thing is awesome. I think if he hoisted his haters by their own petard, good for him.
Look at this destroyer. I know we gotta go up to the $10 million studio TV here. Let's go ahead and have that. Yeah, there we go. Look at that destroyer. That is fucking. Oh,
Gable's ridiculous.
I can't believe he wrestled twice. I mean, look at that. Insane.
Speaking of people we haven't seen wrestle in a while,
yes,
because I got one more announcement for you that's way more exciting than the inspiration, I'm assuming. Did you see Masha Slamovich versus Ling Yi?
Yes, that and the main event with Trick, and Elijah were the only two that I saw. So
I popped huge for the return of Killer Kelly.
Yeah. Wasn't expecting that. That was pretty cool.
No.
Now,
because they've got a history.
How long has she been away for? Has she been in anything since?
I think maybe it feels like a year and a half.
It feels longer than that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
because remember Masha,
because
they were tag team champions.
Yeah,
and Masha had to go and team with Alicia Edwards, and then she was like sideways connected to the system, but not really, and that got weird.
Yeah.
But you got to remember that like the stare down between her and Killer Kelly, because they have an awesome history as partners and as opponents.
Yeah, and then they said that she was let go because they finished up with their contract, and they lost the tag titles, and they're like, oh, Killer Kelly's all done now, and then it's like, no, we're gonna bring her back in. So she was in WWE briefly for the UK Championship tournament.
Yeah.
And
I went on a rant for ages. It's like, oh, they broke up MK Ultra, which was like their tag team name, and it took me a couple months to realize, oh, I'm an idiot. They broke up their tag team because she's off having a family.
Yeah, she was called Raquel Lorenzo. That was her name then. Raquel Lorenzo, Lourenco, Lorenzo. Either way. Then she went to Progress. Then she's been Impact in TNA for 2020, 2022 till now. So, yeah.
No, it was
a first appearance in over a year, confronting Masha Slamovich after her match with Ling Yi.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think because
got it now.
In the past couple of years, they lost a couple of big hitters. Deonna Purrazzo going to AEW, Jordan Grace going to NXT, and now WWE. Mickie James went on that weird "I'm retiring but not really" tour that she was on. Kiera Hogan, as she was sort of starting to find her feet, went to AEW, and we never saw her again because it's AEW.
Yeah.
So for them to pick up Cassie Lee and whatever Peyton Royce's real name is, and Killer Kelly all in the same night, huge boost for them in the ladies division. Other than that, not really much to write home about, other than like I said, like they're doing this downward spiral thing with Joe. Got Kazarian a win, which hardly ever happens.
Yeah,
so that was
good
cool
for him. That's always fun. But yeah, there really just wasn't much that I was like, I have to tune in to see this. I have to, watch this live. I'm sorry, it didn't grab my attention at all. The R-Truth stuff is really concerning for two reasons. Because they've had already one big blunder this week. I consider it, last week into this week. They nullified all future announcements. They nerfed themselves into the ground. My gamer elite speak here. They fucked up bad, because now anytime going forward where they announce somewhere as a host location, it doesn't mean shit. So people now are going to be like, oh, I want to go to WrestleMania, but I'm not going to buy tickets yet until, I'm not going to buy a hotel yet. I'm not going to rent a car. Now everybody's going to try and rent stuff last minute. And it's just, everything's going to become a logistical nightmare, because no one's going to be confident. What are they going to do? Come out and be like, no, we're definitely having it here. Trust us. Like, that's a terrible look to, like, what's the answer? Where do you go from here to benefit yourselves? I guess they could just stay silent and keep working with the numbers show for itself. But all in all, I mean, it's a far cry of what it should be. And a lot of it is just a mess, just go ahead, sir.
Gonna say something that's not gonna make me very popular, and then I'm gonna let Cody speak, because I don't think we've let Cody speak in a while. This sucks for the people that we're gonna go. This sucks for the people that we're gonna go, and it sucks for the people that it was going to be in their town, and it sucks for
the people that already bought hotels that won't refund them.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's what I mean by the people that were going, right?
Yeah.
It sucks for the city itself. It sucks for the businesses that would have benefited from that traffic and whatever, right?
All of it.
I find it hard to have that same conversation. I find it hard to have that same conversation with the people that are just going to be watching it on TV like me.
Yeah. Now,
Like, you
well, here's
weren't
the
hit
thing. You know
by
what else they
this.
screwed is that
What's
people
that?
haven't even. They screwed the entire independent scene because Joey Janela has to book these places
yeah.
to be in the same area about a year out. So they had already booked, not Freedom Square or whatever, something like Freedom Hall, whatever. They had shit all set in New Orleans. It was like, you know, the Oreo type look, and I forget the name of it, but still, they were good to fucking go. And now they're like, oh shit, we can't have our spring break show here. And I guess the convention center is already full for something in Vegas. There's that concert we mentioned. So they don't have room. They don't have spots. What are they doing? And now, like I said, people aren't going to be willing to dish out severe cash, you know, or money on your cards to go to these things when you have to add in flights, hotel, food, and then you're waiting forever. And then if you want to get in faster, you have to buy an upgrade, you know? I saw online the other day, there was a Static X show tonight, and it had, when I got a refund from them a while ago for their bullshit, like, class action suit, they gave us passes for free tickets, but they were only redeemable at certain shows. And out of, like, the 50 shows, I think there was 3 that you could redeem them for. And one of the ones was going to be the Static X one tonight. And I was like, oh, but I'd rather do the review. We had fun. Nobody's feeling well. Sure, I'm in a boot. That's probably not the best idea to get into a mosh pit. Regardless, so it's the point of even just something as simple as that turns into all these fees, all the, you know, it just keeps adding up and adding up. So when you go to see WWE, you're spending so much money, and are you getting your money's worth? I mean, yeah, people went to Money in the Bank. They got 2 ladder matches and 3 bouts. You know, it's a tag match, that kind of stuff.
Actually, technically, if you want,
it.
we're going to talk about it in a second, but the people that went to Money in the Bank bought tickets to a 4-match show and got a 5-match show.
Yeah, they got the 1 extra, and you know the 4 matches themselves delivered. The women's Money in the Bank was well
what I'm
wrestled.
saying to you for WrestleMania,
yeah,
all the people that are actually affected by it, and I'm not disputing that in any way, shape, or form. The people that were going to go, the people that have already arranged their travel, the people that were booking shows around WrestleMania. I mean, technically, that's not really WWE's problem. If I want to be a dickhead about, but the businesses in the area that were going to benefit from the traffic and all that, like all those people, immense sympathy
and
for those people.
You know what? Though, I feel bad for the indies because that's how WWE gets a lot of their talent. So you can't fuck these people over and then expect them to play ball because they need your champion now. You know?
Absolutely fair.
So
my problem is,
you're not wrong.
My problem is when I'm not talking to any, like that big group that I just described.
Yes.
When I'm not talking to them anymore, when I'm talking to the people that are going to sit their asses on their couch and watch it just like me, and that are trying to, again, it goes back to the fake outrage thing of, oh, this show's entirely ruined for me now because it's in this building instead of this building.
Yeah.
Their cameras are rolling and they're doing whatever show they're going to book.
They ruined Snow White because they remade it with that horrible toad-looking girl. You know, they ruined.
Well, they did, but also
Snow White for me. I can't ever watch the animated version again.
Do you want to talk about how Ryan Gosling is the new Black Panther?
Oh my God. That's hilarious, but I have to get something. You guys are going to fucking shit when I tell you this.
Okay, cool. All right, so Jake's obliviated his hosting duties for a minute. Cody, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. You
say something. I got to stop myself because me and Jake just sort of roll into each other. Did you?
All right,
did
what
you
was
watch...
your biggest downfall for the show tonight? What was your biggest, most
Naomi
disappointing
winning.
thing, I should say?
Naomi winning. 100%.
What about Seth winning over LA Knight? I know people are mad about that.
I didn't really go into it thinking LA Knight was going to win, so it wasn't a downfall for me. I thought there was a mild chance that they might have taken the hot hand and gone with Penta, but I was going into it thinking it was going to be Seth.
Yeah, I had said Seth as well. I know, Cody, I forget who you had, sir.
I had I believe either Seth or LA Knight.
I think you had Seth in LA Knight. I think you said you wanted to pick 2, and you said I was going to find you. That's what
I think anybody that you said pick 2 would have said Seth and somebody else.
And he said Seth and LA Knight, so he was on the same.
But that tells you that it's Seth because everybody had Seth. Like I would have said Seth, maybe Penta.
Yeah, exactly. We all had the
Penta,
end, and that was.
I will say though,
notable.
it was the men's match was a really good way to take the temperature of what people think of certain people, because you see the reaction as each person gets up the ladder. It's a measuring stick of sorts to see, like, and other than Seth, who has a reaction for different reasons, like the pops for Penta were huge. The pops for every single woman in the women's match,
they got louder,
were like
and louder.
piling on each other.
They just kept growing. It was great
Cody just asked me
until Stephanie came out. Then it was a fever pitch.
Oh my god! But no, Cody just asked me, like, what's my biggest letdown of the night? And it's like, all my sarcasm aside, all the fact that I just don't like her aside, the biggest letdown has to be Naomi winning for me personally. And I'll put it to you like this.
She's the least deserving storyline wise to me, and people are going to call out race or something, but that's not it.
It's not even a storyline argument, because the Money in the Bank is a shot at a title. Neither of the people that she's feuding with right now have a belt to go for.
Yeah.
But here's my more generic point.
It is to go after a title. I'll let you finish. It is to go after a title, but it's also like a way to inject yourself into that stratosphere of the main roster of, you know what I mean? Like the upper echelon of the main event. So that's how you advance by, now I can challenge the champion, as before without the briefcase. I was not, that's your, your brass ring moment per se. So.
I think, which I understand at the same time, that's why people are like disappointed with Seth Rollins winning, because he doesn't need the Money in the Bank briefcase to get a title match.
Well, I had made the argument in my preview, because when I was doing my preview, unfortunately, Jake, you weren't able to join me this time. But I struggled on without you, and as I say every time I do a solo video now, it's like, tune in over here to see why I really need a co-host. But when going into it, the top two votes were, the top two most likely winners were Naomi and Rhea Ripley. Now, everybody knows, or everybody that's heard us talk for a while knows, Rhea Ripley, fucking star. Rhea Ripley is the biggest star they have in that division, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I was saying, I don't want either of them to win. Naomi doesn't deserve it. Rhea Ripley doesn't need it.
I can get in trouble for saying that. So.
But here's my more generic breakdown of the whole thing. You just brought up Roxanne Perez.
Yes.
Long overdue.
Way
huge arrival
overdue.
from NXT, because we've been talking about, we've literally been doing the debate with her for like 3 years. Every time there's an NXT show, well, she's got to lose the belt because they need to bring her up. And then you've got two other women in that division, in Julia and Stephanie Vacour, who came from NXT so fast because they were bigger than NXT on arrival. So there's your three big new names from NXT. Who else do you have? You've got Rhea Ripley and Alexa Bliss, who, I don't care if you like them or not, are probably the two biggest female pops in the company.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Rhea Ripley every day. Go back to the Royal Rumble, and I will say, even bigger than Rhea Ripley, the Alexa Bliss return pop at the Royal Rumble.
She got a great one tonight too, and really quick.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest pops of the year, by the way.
Oh yeah, her return at the Rumble was so good. And you might hear yourself again for a second, but I have this here that I'm dying to play. The volume might be a little bit loud. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to mess with it, but at least we could play it quick. I mean,
I don't hear anything, but it looks cool.
That's nuts. I mean, that crowd had a real fever pitch there. That was incredible. I mean, the only thing wild more than that is Cena taking the pin in the end, but that pop for R-Truth was, holy hell, something incredible.
You know what I love about WWE, right?
What's that?
Because they do the random person shows up in a hoodie a lot, right?
Yes, they do.
But it always gets a pop, because unlike in other places, the person under the hoodie is somebody we know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, whereas they...
that's...
Like, I will say both AEW and TNA have done ones where it's like they've used the guy shows up in a hoodie to introduce a brand new person, and that can go great, or it can go terribly if nobody knows who it is.
Exactly.
Like, and
it's
if
the
it
Butcher
doesn't go well,
and the Blade and the Butcher.
Oh my God.
And the blade.
It's the what was it? The crawlers of the
the Dark Order. Yeah, the crawlers. The creepers, whatever it was.
Where they made a throne out of people because that's
they
not
stuck his fingers in what was it, Matt Jackson's mouth.
And then they punched the mat for a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I'm not even taking this as a dig. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. Even when they did the Gabe Kidd thing not too long ago, and it's
wait,
like they shot him
did
from
you
the
say
side.
that kid thing?
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I was just confused. I don't know what that's got to do with anything, but all right, continue.
No, but when he came out to help out the Dark Order, which is sort of like the lukewarm order at this point, like they shot him from the side, and he never really fully took the hoodie off, and it's like, so you're kind of trying to make a judgment on half a face, and it's like it only works if you know everything you need to know about New Japan, and like
if you don't know who Gay Kid is, then you're screwed. You know, I know A Kid, and I watched him a lot, but Gay Kid, I was like, I have no idea who Gay Kid is.
Well, A Kid just got really good at math and put a mask on and went to NXT.
And then he teamed up with Nathan Frazier. Now they're fraxing him on the main roster of SmackDown, destroying the tag division one match at a time.
I will say
the fans booed. It didn't have a conclusion to that match. That's an awesome feeling.
Because there's a couple things from SmackDown. Actually, one's just a confirmation thing for Night of Champions in Saudi. They're gonna do King and Queen of the Ring finals in Saudi, but they didn't call the pay-per-view King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, very bizarre. They're doing it all in one night, right? I guess too. Like, it's kind of confusing as to what they said.
Yeah, that's what I was questioning too about that. Because,
they're doing 4 fatal 4-ways. And that'll go into like 4 regular like it's a tournament, but the first round of the tournament is a couple of fatal 4-way matches, and then there's regular matches, and then a final.
Okay, I got you.
For the men and the women.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, just do King and Queen of the Ring, because
you
if you're basing it
at this point, yeah, might as well.
I do like that they're sticking with what they did last year, where the respective King and Queen of the Ring seal their deal. They punch their ticket for a title shot at WrestleMania, or not at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing. It's not like the Rumble though, or it's not like Money in the Bank. In the case of, if you win the tournament, you're just getting a shot at your brand's title.
Then you're fucked. You're down on the corner sucking dick for coke and weed. Oh, sorry.
Oh, right. Anyways, but no, the way that the Rumble winner gets to choose their champion, and the way that the Money in the Bank champion or Money in the Bank holder can cash in on any champion, they have specified. So like, if LA Knight becomes King of the Ring, he's facing Cena.
Well, here's the thing. Liz said in the chat, she's like, she had a great time at SmackDown. I know she sent us some awesome videos. Unfortunately, if I didn't spend the whole day in the ER knowing that I broke my foot in half, I probably would have had more time this week, but it's been a bit preoccupied, unfortunately. I wanted to meet up with her and talk to her, about SmackDown, but haven't had that chance. So she said that Cody's going to win the King of the Ring and face Cena at SummerSlam for the title. They could do that, but I feel like they want to save Cody for the end. But what if Cody's not the one to beat Cena? What if it is like a Punk or even a Roman? Punk. It should be Punk. I don't feel like it could be. I wouldn't hate it if it is Cody either, because he took the title away from Cody. I don't hate that.
I get it.
But I prefer being Cody.
Here's the thing.
Thank you.
Cody's already stolen somebody's spot once.
I did not.
You did.
No, you didn't. It should have been Jey Uso to finally topple Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, go back to the beginning of the Bloodline story. It's true. Cody took it. Cody was the hot hand at the time. Yeah. I get it. People I don't agree with it, but I get it, right? Now you've got somebody with a history like a John Cena with CM Punk there. And CM Punk literally doing the mirror thing 10 years ago of, I'm going to take this title and ruin the company and fuck off.
Yeah.
For Cena to come back now so backwards that, CM Punk, the guy that we're all supposed to not like, even though he's fucking awesome, and be able to look at that and say, I tried that. It's not going to work. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do what I did. And he unseats John Cena, and John Cena learns his lesson on the way out the door.
Are you talking about Hangman? Are you talking about WWE? Oh, because I was like, I missed that one. Fucking hell, right? I mean,
that place makes my head hurt like a lot.
I just
you
went through
told
the
me I
same
was
thing. I was like,
you told me I was crazy for watching the whole 4-hour fucking debacle on
yeah,
Wednesday.
I wasn't trying to gaslight you. You were pretty knucking futs. That's like certifiable. You're guilty. I won't hit any more sound effects, but you get the point there.
But here's the thing, like, and you and I have talked about it off air. Like, we will take our shots at AEW, but I'm gonna watch it because I'm not gonna be the dickhead that skips it and just assumes that it was shit. Because then you're coming from a false place.
I do watch it, but I cannot watch it live. I can't do it anymore. It sucks the soul out of me. I have to be able to fast forward through the bullshit that I can't stand, and I have to be able to skip the commercials. Like WWE, it's not as bad watching, especially on Netflix with the VPN, because then
you're watching the match through the commercials.
You either get the match or you just get the graphic with the weight
the
music.
Cool backstage stuff.
Yeah, you get like this thing right here. You get the hold music.
Yeah.
And then it just, it takes you for a bit. So you get the nice and relaxing hold music, and then it comes back. So I could do it, but all the same repeat commercials over and over. And then the commercials actually go sometimes for like an extra minute when they have to do shit, and it bleeds through. So you're not getting, back to the match at all for like 4 minutes. When you do, they're almost ready for another commercial break because they're out of breath. The storylines don't advance really week to week. It's like month to month before anything happens. People say that's bullshit. How many weeks did it take for MJF to get a thumbs up to join the Hurt Business? Oh, well, that shouldn't be a slow burn.
And then it was interrupted by the
10
Sons
weeks,
of Texas.
Right?
Then it was interrupted by the Sons of Texas.
Which barely makes any sense. Sammy doesn't fit with that at all. His dad was not a plumber, I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, and then I'm going to get off of AEW because it makes my brain rot. But, like, they are basically, they're copying WWE's King and Queen of the Ring homework by the winners of the Owen getting their shots at All In, even though All In is their like Temu WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the main event is going to be Tony and Mercedes. Yes. First of all, I don't believe that.
No, that is talked to because that's what they closed Dynamite with it the other day to see how it judged and how it fared.
Yeah, closing Dynamite's different than
Yeah, and there's so many things that don't really make sense with this as well. With Tony, it's just.
Okay, first of all, but here's the thing. First of all, I don't believe that they will main event that show with that match.
I bet you they would because they want to make something of it.
They maybe, but this is the show that still features less women on their weekly television show than a WWE Saudi show.
I believe it.
Second of all, Sasha Banks. Even take out the fact that I don't like her as a person, and I think she's obnoxious and terrible, and she's just gone to Austria to pick up another belt for some random reason.
Yes, she got another.
There's
belt.
There's a big part of me that's like, okay, half of like all due respect to Toni Storm, and I'm not wishing any bad on Toni Storm in this regard. A lot of Sasha Banks matches are a wet fart in church. So there's a big part of me that says, oh, go on. Please end your pay-per-view with that.
Yeah, definitely a wet fart.
Please end your pay-per-view with that.
I'm sorry, sir. That was not on the board. That's a strike. We're going to Cody. Cody, what's something to main event? AEW All in Texas. What do you say? What match main events?
Oof.
You think it's Tony and Mercedes, Toyota, Monet?
I mean, maybe I would go with that, but you gotta have Mercedes just win again.
Yep.
Maybe. I mean,
you're gonna have the burial of Toni Storm, who everybody actually likes, main event All In. Well, either that, or you can have a title match featuring a title that we haven't seen in over a year.
Yeah, basically, and that's not great either. So,
anyways, well, what
they have a men's world title?
Exactly. Jake, Cody asked me while you were on your step out. I'm going to ask you, what's your high point, low point tonight?
So tonight, high point. Let's see here. I really did enjoy the women's Money in the Bank match. I'm not crazy that Naomi won. I see what they're going for. I get the kind of path they're taking her down, but I felt like, and that it's not because the one you don't like won, or I didn't get who I wanted to win. I feel like it was not the best booking.
Still think
decision
Roxanne
here.
made the most sense.
Roxanne made the most sense with the Judgment Day, throughput of that being on there. they got this wrong. WWE absolutely got this wrong. So now we got that buzzer that I can abuse. A real highlight to me, probably I was over enthused by Dominic and Octagon. That was a great match and far better
a lot of fun.
than I even expected it would be. It was fun. I liked the little bits of story they threw in there, and really, I think the highlight though is R-Truth returning. That would have to be my above all else, because I don't know. I can't envision that was a work full time. Like that was always their plan. I can't, because they would go ahead and have such ill will and hostility. They went and told every single wrestler, hey, we didn't really fire him, or they made all these people hate them and feel like they can't trust their boss. Like there's no good outcome here.
Yeah.
Excuse me, especially from like a PR speak mindset. Your boss either lied to you and told you that somebody was fired and made you feel a certain way because it was for storyline. Like really, you don't trust your employees, or you told all your employees and they played it up like he was, gone forever, just so you could play at the fans' heartstrings by lying. Like he was already beloved. You could have, if that was the plan, then why not set it up his last match and do it that way at Saturday night's main event, or at least,
I mean, I guess
because it goes back to my point.
Yeah,
it goes back to my point of if it was a story, people would have written it off in their heads as a lame story.
Yes.
You had to get people thinking there was actual fuckery afoot to get the
desired effect. Yeah, the desired effect.
I want to find a better word, but like the fake outrage.
Yeah,
tweets and clicks
the
and
outcome
whatever
that they desired, they wanted. Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm going to say two things, because you brought up the Dominic thing. First of all, really, really interesting spot for him to be in, for him to be the one that they use to bridge over from the AAA show. And hey, we're going to feature somebody from AAA on this big WWE show with Octagon. A couple more signs than Pentagon. It's fine.
That was a good one, buddy.
Octagon versus Pentagon in a math quiz match. But also, it was a really interesting spot to put Dominic in, and it really did, because you and I did this a while ago, but it's worth bringing up again. Dominic has
that wasn't on the board either. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can't hear the noises. So
yeah, no, that's okay.
You kind of like Dominic has kind of snuck up on us as, that's Dominic. It's just that kid that's here because he's Ray's kid, except like he's actually snuck up on us and become really good.
Yes, which is pretty funny, and it's worked out well. Honestly, it really has.
Okay. Well, Discord just told me our stream ended.
No, not live. That's just my stream to you, so you guys can see my camera feed. Yeah.
There we go.
We're still live on YouTube. It's just
cool.
That
I'm very
stream,
tired, and something flashed in my face. So
I just want to see, maybe now you can. Let's see if you can hear it. No, it's not that input.
No.
The only thing that's weird, I don't understand why you guys can't hear it, but you can hear. Let's try this way. Can you guys hear me now? No, I don't think so.
Now I can't hear you.
Yeah, see, I don't think so. I'd have to go to. Let's try that one with the stream mixer now. Actually, I'm going to try XSplit audio and see how. Can you guys hear me still?
Yep.
Let's try this.
Yep.
Holy hell, I think I figured it out. Do you guys hear yourselves
But
talking?
I'm echoing too.
God damn it. All right, hold on. There's a way to do that. Try it now.
Okay.
No, that kills you too.
Echoing.
How about now? You're not echoing, but I don't think the chat can hear you though. Let's find out. Well, that's all right. I'm trying to find out. I'm fast forwarding. We're learning in real time, folks. Thank you for. Yeah, there's a few people. It's just yeah, nope. Can't hear you guys. So all right. Now they can hear you, but you guys will you'll hear yourselves until I switch it. Yeah, eventually I will figure it out. I don't know why it has to be just such a pain in the ass, but there has to be a way to make it work.
And I'm echoing.
Yeah, you will for a second. I'm trying to get
Fantastic.
there you go. Now you won't hear anymore. I tried to
when
get you guys
when I
to hear the
repost this as
sounds.
a podcast, people are gonna love hearing us learning in real time.
They are, but at least they can hear you now. That's all that matters. It's
But
crystal
anyways, no,
clear coming through. So continue, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to no, it's worth saying that it's taken a long time for Dom to get out from under the isn't that cute? They've got Ray's kid here to the point now where I get that AAA is under the WWE banner now, but still new in a certain sense.
Well, speaking about that, how different were the crowds from Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank? Because he was booed at Worlds Collide, but then he was mega over at Money in the Bank.
Which is true.
Dom?
Yeah, Dominic.
Yeah.
Wasn't he booed at Worlds Collide from the clips I saw? He was booed there.
Yeah, he was booed big time at Worlds Collide today earlier.
He was booed at Worlds Collide, but he picked up the mic and he did a heel promo and he was at the Luchador show shooting on the Luchadors and shooting on his dad. So
how different were the crowds though? Because I'm sure a lot of them went to both shows, no?
I would imagine so.
The crowd for Worlds Collide was electrically amazing. They gave them some of the best reactions. They were nonstop with cheers, chants, and everything was just respectfully part of the action and fun and no silly bullshit. They chanted constantly, but it wasn't obnoxious. It was a good takeaway. It was enjoyable. The crowd was just at a fever pitch.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't give you a really, really detailed idea of the crowd because I was also listening to our friends over at the Wrestling for Life Network because they were doing their watch along. So I didn't always have sound up to where it should be, but the place looked electric. The place looked great.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys will hear this. I'm going to play a 10-second clip really quick, but just to hear the reaction of the crowd here, you guys can see they go absolutely crazy. I got to turn this back on.
They go banana.
They go, oh, that's right. They go banana. I'm trying to make this go banana, but we'll see what works.
Hearing everybody go absolutely banana.
Just for now, you might hear yourself. That's okay, but look.
And now they're facing each other in the ring.
Well, it's not hard to see who the fan favorites are in this one. It looks like
they haven't even started the match yet. They hadn't even done a single thing, and that crowd just acted like Hulk Hogan resurrected at Mania 18. It's absolutely incredible. This crowd from top to bottom, from card start to card finish, was absolutely 10 out of 10 incredible. They were ready for this. They were excited. Can I tell you something? Yeah, go right ahead, please.
Can I tell you something that's not going to surprise you at all? At all. Spaz has his new favorite tag team.
Uh-oh.
Pagano and Psycho Clown. Let's fucking go.
I hate Pagano so much. I'm sorry. He's always been one that I fucking despise.
But it's me.
I know, but I have to give it to you because it's you. I just got to let it go.
I was actually texting back and forth with my younger brother who's in Toronto, and he was watching the show. And I was like, and the first reaction was my first reaction was hey, it's clowns in wrestling that aren't ICP. Let's go.
Oh God.
But no, I sometimes all it takes is a wacky gimmick. I mean, the iguana was over. Let's just talk about that.
The stuffed iguana, yes.
Fucking what was his name? I think it was Lindsay Dorado who did the shooting star press, or not the standing shooting star press on the iguana puppet, and then they all treated it like it was hot potato, and it was fun.
They just
imagine that
hey,
it was
we can't
fun.
have this. Yeah, no shit.
You can have fun without sticking your head in a plastic bag. Imagine that. Now we're watching Static X on Jake's stream.
My grandmother went to go play Remco. I was trying to find the old the clown music intro, but I know this is a Static X CD, so you see, but I was trying to find the old clown intro for it, and for I Want to Fucking Break It. They always have that.
Evanescence has a documentary dropping on Netflix soon.
You get it. We need clown music because Pagano sucks ass.
Is that Lizzo walking to the bathroom?
Yeah, I thought so, but no, she lost weight now. She hates fat people.
That's okay. She found it again.
She hates fat people indeed. She's super skinny now, right? Isn't that what I've heard? She went off.
She's still bullying her backup singers?
I believe that. She wants them all to dive in her juices.
She was doing all kinds of weird stuff with a banana, Jake. You better watch out.
You know, out of all like shocking pop culture news, the one that actually made me like laugh to the point where it hurt, and I haven't done that in a while. So I had my daughter growing up in the age of when JoJo Siwa was popular. Like she didn't love her, thankfully, but she did listen.
Is
to some
that the
of it
one that
and liked her.
everybody's like mad that she's straight now?
Yeah, yes. So she for years, because she was in Dance Moms, that show where like she was pushed to be a star from age 2 onwards. Her mom had her in every beauty pageant, every dance show, every recital. This girl had no life. She had to leave school early to do homeschooling so she could do all these pageants and stuff. Like she was indoctrinated into the gay lifestyle being your only choice. And she never really had a voice or choice of her own. It was pushed on her for a lot of this. And she just thought like, oh, that's right. And the first time she got a little bit of dick, the next day on Twitter, she was like, fuck this. I love cock, basically. And that was like the summation. She's like, I want to suck it. Fuck it, lick it. I wanted to kick it. I just want it. I want dicks all over me. She's like, just give me the cock. And I was like, wow, girl, you've gone a long way, JoJo. From not even that long ago, she was wearing these crazy outfits. And like she was like in this all black leotard fucking thing going on. Like it was pretty scary. At one point, I'm like, somebody needs to call, CPS. Isn't she, a child in young age? No, she's an adult. All right, just checking. But like, this whole thing, it scared the shit out of me. I mean, look at this. This is something out of like a Tim Burton creation.
That's Zarya.
I only liked the vag.
That's Zarya.
Yeah,
like 100%. I'm waiting to see where Sol Ruka is standing behind her.
just look for her asshole. But it was just hilarious because she was this face of the gay movement for so long, and she went to,
which is fine if it's your own choice.
Exactly, but she went to rallies and marches and did all this stuff, and she was like, she had to be paraded around literally and wear all these crazy extravagant outfits that she felt was her choice, but it never really was when you watch the footage back. And when you look up like her new look and stuff and look in the news, it's like, holy shit, that's way off. Like that's not at all what we were expecting. And it's pretty crazy to see the difference of a little bit of meat brought her to a whole new dimension,
Speaking of another whole dimension,
take us back, sir.
I sent you the graphic. I'm trying to get it back on track because I don't know where we're going here. I sent you the graphic shortly after Worlds Collide was over, but you see the match that was added to Triple Mania.
Yes.
For the mega title, Vikingo versus Mysterio.
Yes, which is very, very fun. Absolutely. I was looking for that.
I'm surprised they didn't announce it on the show.
I was shocked too. I thought that was going to happen, but
you couldn't necessarily put the match graphic up, but just like make the announcement before the title match. Hey, the winner of this goes on to face, Ray at Triple Mania or whatever. You could have Ray on commentary. Conan on commentary sounded like he was fucking asleep.
Yes, he did. Oh, he was more than just asleep. He drank a cup of fentanyl. That man, he was not having it. Like, here we go. Here's your breaking Triple Mania news. Look at that. Vikingo they're making a big deal of Vikingo, so good on him. He's never been
insane.
He's a really great wrestler. He's another like Will Ospreay to me. He's shit at promos. His character's not great, but he's so good in the ring that you kind of let it forget. Like Will is not a great bruv. He's not. He just yells into the mic with his accent. Like that's about all you get from him. Vikingo, it's mostly non-English, so hey, good on him. It's just hard for me to understand. I don't have a translator, but I get the point. But still, it's not. That was a bit of the problem tonight. So this is something I want to bring it back to the review. Lyra and Becky. Not at any point did it feel
fantastic.
Oh my! It was a great match, but it never felt like it got to the point where like, oh, Becky absolutely is going to win. Like it should have been more like, no, Becky has no chance and then wins. It never felt that way though. It felt like they were evenly matched. And as much as it was a good match, it was missing a lot of the story elements here. I mean, Becky just dominates in the early, and she's 0-5 for matches, as we know. So they're trying to play that up. But you basically heard the audience. It was like almost 50-50 of let's go Becky, Becky sucks. Those chants were split pretty much even.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads to Lyra losing in the end. So Becky basically reverses the hold, and then she holds on to the tights, and she gets a 3 count, and she beats Lyra for the women's IC title. And then she gets her arm raised by Lyra, and then Becky keeps it going. Oh, now you got to drag my arm around the ring and show me off to every corner, and keeps trying to build it up and build it up. And then she goes ahead and finally gets attacked, and the crowd booed a little bit and cheered. It was a weird reaction.
I think people don't.
No Bailey. Everybody's neck was broken yet again, waiting for Bailey to come because of the way they set this story up with her saying, "I took out Bailey, I destroyed Bailey, I fucked Bailey," and then now we've gotten nothing from it. Pills are good.
I don't blame them for expecting Bailey and stuff like that. And I also was under the impression at one point that I thought that Stephanie Vacour was going to be not tonight, but Stephanie Vacour was going to be getting involved into that. I thought it was going to
add
be
up and even the sides. Yeah, I totally remember.
Not to even the sides. The whole Lyra drops it to Becky, and then Becky was going to drop it to either Bailey or Stephanie Vacour. Yeah. I wasn't trying to build another tag team match.
I'm tired. I mean, other side of the. Like the other opponent, the other side of the piece. You get my point.
Yeah. But I think it's fair to think, okay, there's lots of stories and there's lots of moving parts. Somebody could interfere. But I think we as an audience, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else, we're not looking at the match. We're looking at what else could happen to the match.
Yes.
And then we turn around and complain that there's so much interference.
And we're waiting. So we're waiting. You're like,
I'm not going to. I'm gonna speculate that there could be interference, and we'll do a preview, and I'll say, "Oh, maybe this is where Bailey comes back, or maybe somebody else steps up to the plate to challenge."
It feels
Becky
like Bailey had to come back tonight. Like, what else is there to like? Now you take the title so she can rematch for it again at Evolution. Like, I don't want to see them face again, which is why I think Becky should have won.
Here's where I think that while it would have made sense, and I would have been fine with it if it happened, this is where I think they benefit from that not happening, because I think the match ruled. I know that there's like storyline stuff that's been a bit janky with it. I am of the opinion there is nobody on the WWE roster right now that has taken on a project like Becky has taken on Lyra. Like, it's one thing to say, okay, this is a young person and I'm going to make them look good.
Yeah.
Becky has taken Lyra since the time that Becky did her brief stint back in NXT. But Becky has made Lyra her project. Becky has made Lyra, I am going to put this fucking kid on the map.
Yeah, she put her over, she put her over, she elevated her, and she made her important.
They obviously get along, and because they get along, they beat the shit out of each other. And while the real life person, Rebecca Quinn or whatever her real name is going into this match 100%, I'm going to make this kid look like $1 million if it kills me. The character Becky Lynch is saying, I'm going to embarrass this kid, and I'm going to stop them before they even start, and I'm going to embarrass them, and they're going to go crawl off into a hole. That's where the post-match stuff comes in. No, you're going to raise my hand. No, you're going to raise my hand again. Oh, by the way, just because I feel about it, you're going to grace me with the belt. You're going to dress me in the belt. And I think for the for the outraged, embarrassed, ashamed, whatever babyface moment for Lyra to sink in, you don't interrupt that.
Yeah.
So I think
the crowd gave up on Lyra right away. Like they just couldn't be bothered, and it's hard to blame them at any point either. Like, even when the action intensity picked up, like, they got more into the match, but they weren't really at a fever pitch for any of it. Like you had people chanting and cheering, but it was never like this explosive moment. And it all basically is going to get extended because if Bayley doesn't come out, then we're going to just have more of these two, and it already feels dead in the water. So this was a miss for me.
I don't know. I think we have to see what they do tomorrow night on Raw, and I know that sounds like a really, really cop-out answer.
No, but
I think
you have to just consider this show. We can't count Raw. I mean, we can. It's arbitrary, but I'm saying I choose not to count Raw yet because it hasn't happened. So if it changes
Absolutely
tonight, certainly. But I can't wait for it to change tonight until it happens. So,
but what you've done is if you book Becky in the main event, then you've kind of got in your mind what's going on. Oh, you're going to have Becky versus Io. You're going to have Becky versus maybe a returning Asuka. Maybe Becky mixes it up with Charlotte, or even they go back to the Rhea Ripley thing, whatever. That's Becky in the main event. Becky picking up a mid-card title puts Becky in the mid-card and offers you an entirely new slew of opportunities. So
you're right.
Her not only beating Lyra, not so definitively, but the embarrassment and the put down and the absolute, like, I'll rip your soul out because the match is over now, pulling a Shang Tsung on her.
Yeah.
Says, okay, I've taken one trophy in Lyra Valkyria's embarrassment. It doesn't depend on what happens on Monday, but in this moment tonight made me say, I want to see what's next.
Yeah, I want to go out with a bang.
Does that make sense? I'm not talking about speculating what's next.
No.
I'm talking about what tonight did for what's next.
Yes, exactly. And what it builds to, and all of it. I'm totally with you there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Because if she comes out on Monday and Lyra says, oh, you cheated, it was a roll-up, whatever, I want my rematch, and they subvert what WWE usually does, and Becky just says, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go do it.
I beat you definitively. There's a reason you had to put this belt around my waist. You're at the back of the line.
Yeah.
That promo gets interrupted.
And then Bayley comes out to challenge her to set up SummerSlam eventually, or Evolution.
I do want to see that at
probably
some point.
Going to be a triple threat though, right?
Could be.
Maybe.
I mean, because Bayley and Lyra have not spoken either. She says Becky screwed everything because now Bayley won't answer her calls. She hasn't gotten any phone call to be picked up. So Bayley's pissed off, clearly.
I do want to see Becky Bayley at some point, but maybe not just yet. I do want to see Stephanie stare her down tomorrow night, because Stephanie going and pull it, like, let's be real, and it's going under the radar. Stephanie pulling double duty tonight.
Oh yeah,
at the AAA show and in the Money in the Bank, and looking pretty damn good in both. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's not true. Octagon pulled double duty.
True. Yeah.
But her going in and winning at the AAA show, going in on such a high, and then the disappointment of losing Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Still fun to be in that match, though. I'm sure you're proud of something.
Yeah. Still, but it's also combine that with the fact that she is the newest person to the main roster.
Yeah.
And she's got something to prove because she's new on the main roster. She's got something to prove because she just lost the Money in the Bank match, despite, some amazing stuff that she did in it. Like, of course she's gonna stomp her foot and say, I'm fucking here. Let me show you. Let me kick your head off. Let me do whatever. Let me, devil's kiss you into the ground so that, all the fans can get excited.
Go nuts with me smacking my ass into your face. Well, bam, baby. I like it. That's when Booker T's going nuts.
I think out of the 3 non-ladder matches, I think Lyra Becky was my favorite match.
It was a very good match. I hate that the audience can't get behind her or believe in Lyra to be like serious. And when she does snap, it's like people are kind of like, oh, this is ridiculous now. Like it doesn't work. Sadly.
That is like, and I know it sounds like I'm always plugging the guys over at Wrestling for Life.
No,
but like when you're listening to like watch along content,
mm-hmm.
you're less affected by the crowd.
Yes.
And I was
focused on the topic at hand that they're discussing. So
the topic at hand in the conversation, plus
and the match.
yeah. Well, it's a over there, that's why I plug these guys so much. It's a pretty positive like community they have over there. So the chat is really positive. The chat is excited because they want to be excited. The guys are pretty positive, and I'm watching the match unfolding in front of me, and it's not necessarily being driven by the crowd noise. I mean, for the big pops, like the Rhea pops and the Alexa pops and all that sort of thing, you hear the pops, but you don't hear what you don't hear, and that doesn't affect things. So I think if the crowd was quieter, I didn't notice it.
Probably.
But then again,
they were quieter. They really, really, really like reacted well tonight. They cheered. They were very raucous. Cody, sir, I know you're still here, but I have a question for both of you. So the other day, my wife found a toy like rubber ducky on the front porch, like right before you walk into our living room outside. And I was like, oh, so she put it over on the table, and I didn't know she found it. She just left it there. So I was like, oh, that's weird. So the other day she's like, yeah. And I was like, where'd the duck come from? Or I said, where'd Elsa come from? And she's like, what? And then afterwards I'm like, where'd the duck come from? And she's like, oh, Trump? And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, the Trump duck. I'm like, is that who you think that is? She's like, yeah. I'm like, babe, it's fucking Elsa from Frozen. She's like, no. Oh shit, huh? So apparently, I guess I could see a little bit of the resemblance. It's a Donald Trump.
Okay, speaking of which,
come on, you don't think that's a Trump duck? Come on.
Oh, speaking of which, I can't believe I'm about to make this transition.
Donald Duck.
Oh Jesus.
Going back to
Should I be
the
afraid,
AAA show.
Spaz?
No, when they had the opening, I guess you could say like the opening ceremony of the show where you had Triple H and Shawn Michaels and all the officials from AAA out there, and you had the lady singing the Mexican anthem and the American anthem and all that kind of stuff. The one lady there from AAA looks like she jumped over the wall to steal Trump's headpiece or hairpiece.
Now that's daring. You might get shot by the Secret Service over that. Snatch that toupee rug.
But like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really not. But she looks like an NPC that stole Donald Trump's hair and downloaded it. Like, who is that?
I'm choking on my drink. That is one. He does have tiny hands, Coot. You're right. So I mean, you got to be careful.
Small
it doesn't
hands,
surprise
very
me.
small.
So yeah, the men's was a big surprise, I guess, to no one. We all
Not
said
really.
that it's going to be Seth Rollins, or we all kind of picked a maybe, but everybody had Seth in mind because it makes sense. Why? With the story. His big new group, what do they need to do? They need to generate heat. Or else, what are they? They're useless. They're pointless. If you beat them now, or they don't have anything behind them that exemplifies power or a threat, then people are just going to write them off, and they're going to be the next, Lord Tensai failure type,
And I'm sorry, I know none of them were in the match, but Braun Bronson, JC Mateo, and Jacob Fatu going at it in the match while everybody else was down.
I hate you,
awesome.
Solo. Yeah, exactly. Well, he didn't say Solo, but I hate you.
Oh,
yeah.
when he wrecked Solo, I will say, people are going to pull this out, so I might as well say it now. I don't care, but people are going to pull this out. If he was coming down there the whole time to like fuck over Solo, why did he bother coming out with JC Mateo in the first place? I kind of think that's good for fuckery.
Yeah,
because he took him and like
it wasn't
set him
expected.
up, but
he wasn't just in his corner the whole time. He would like they pre-planned it, but they worked it out in such a way to not alarm anybody. That's cool.
Well, they did a gradual like escalation as well. Like Rollins could have come out with his two guys as well, but then they just would have been there the whole match.
Exactly.
But you waited until everybody like exhausted themselves. And I'm sorry, like at the end of the day, like we might talk like we're smart, but wrestling fans are simple creatures. Like
it's always the lowest common denominator. That's why I said Occam's razor.
Middle of a match, there's a new entrance, you're gonna get a pop. It doesn't even matter who it is, really.
Most times
you got Seth Rollins's guys, and then your brain builds up. It's like, oh, if Seth Rollins's guys come out, maybe Solo's guys are gonna come out too. And then it does happen, and then you get another pop for another entrance, and you get that little like serotonin in your brain from like, hey, I predicted that thing 5 seconds ago that was purely very, very, very obvious.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like going back to reductionism, when you're talking about Occam's razor and basically
Akam and Razor?
Yeah, no kidding. That's what they played it off of. But
oh dear.
when people go ahead and it's like, there's no more, no less. Like, basically, it's like the simplest explanation is usually the best. The fewer assumptions is usually the correct one. Like if you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras, that kind of thing. And with WWE, they've been doing that now. Where a while ago, Vince, even up to 2020, like right at the end there, he was pulling out swerves for just swerve sake, sake. He was for steak. He cooked the Fiend like a steak. He made him extra crispy. And then on Mania night, he walks through a hallway and then he's fine. He's rejuvenated. So, we had a lot of bullshit. And
I don't necessarily dislike it, but I was kind of surprised once the interferences started rolling through that we didn't get a CM Punk appearance.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we needed it.
We're going to get something like that eventually. But here's the thing. At least now, I used to bitch about the absence of long-term storytelling. I'd be like, come on, you guys had The Miz defend his title over the summer to Sheamus, and now Sheamus is saying he's never had a title shot before. What the fuck are you, the things like that, the continuity that mattered.
Oh, yeah.
And instead they came back at us with, wins and losses you said don't matter. And it's like, in the grand scheme of things, most times, no. But they do. They do matter. Maybe you can get away with, it doesn't matter. You guys had, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. No matter who wins, it's going to be a big, beefy, brutal match. They're going to beat the shit out of each other. You're going to have fun. They're interchangeable in that place.
The wins and losses don't matter, do matter argument. It kind of misses the point, in my opinion. Winning and losing doesn't matter, but wins and losses do matter in the sense of how did we get there.
Yes.
If you go back to last year when Punk and Drew were having their feud, right? Now Drew has a match against anybody, realistically speaking. Punk comes down, distracts Drew. Drew loses the match to whoever. Now, does it matter that Drew lost a match to whoever? No, but it does matter that CM Punk cost Drew
what's
a
your
match.
emergency?
Yeah,
And those are different things.
Exactly. So those are totally different, and they're easy to separate, but it also gets confused and confounded pretty quick too. So I would go ahead and say, there's flying shit falling all over the place here, but the drink is still standing. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, really. You're not wrong. It's got to be pretty consistently, just do what makes sense. So long as it's logical, we can get behind most of it. And that's pretty, like you said.
And you can get away with doing something wacky or random or something that doesn't feel like it makes sense if everything else you're doing at the time
makes sense.
Like you can have, like, this is the one story that's going crazy or something like that. Worth mentioning as well, not only is Rey Mysterio facing Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship at what's it called, Triple Mania, but also the Garzas are going for the AAA tag titles,
which is cool. They've not been utilized and taken to any type of advantage of in a long time. Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza were a big name during the COVID times. Remember how big they were? They were in the main event of Raw time and time again. I feel like it.
Well, Angel was in that weird. Angel was in that weird faction with Seth Rollins for a time. Remember, it was like Angel and Zelina and Austin Theory and Rollins.
The Dark Rollins timeline where he revealed his heel turn by twisting his chair in the back of a van.
Oh my god! But I think, like, and I won't go as far as to say, oh my god, it was the highlight of the night or anything like that. But like the guys in Legado really came out with something to prove this afternoon at the AAA show as well. I like them. I like them switching up their look a little bit, coming out in the camo, coming out like, we're ready for a scrap, we're ready for a fight. But then they were facing the clown guys, and I like the clown guys.
I can't get behind fucking Pagano there. He drives me nuts. He's just a shit wrestler that got a ton of attention.
I don't care. But he's got a tongue on his mask. That's Psycho Clown.
Oh, right? I had JoJo Siwa's like news page still open. I never actually clicked on it over here. The main headline says JoJo Siwa defends her mom for bleaching her hair when she was just 2 years old to enforce gayness. All right. No wonder why she hated Dick for so long. She thought it was the devil.
I'm not
You're not fucking that with this 10-foot pole. I got you, bud.
It's like she did a reverse carry.
JoJo Siwa. She was.
What about her?
She's not gay anymore. She's straight. She loves the dick.
Wait, she's not gay?
Nope, not anymore. You got a chance again.
I didn't want one, but
what's wrong with JoJo? She's certainly tight as could be. I mean, there's just the one guy.
Like, pass.
Cody.
Baseball gloves still waiting to be broken in.
Yeah, exactly. New leather. You know what you do with that, right? You put it between a mattress. Giggity. What are they going to do with JC Mateo? Because he feels like he's floundering big time. The name change feels stupid. Jeff Cobb Mateo. I get what they're going for, but it really does. Jeff Cobb
He just didn't
Mateo.
want to buy new gear, so they had to make it JC.
JC Mateo. That same thing with Chad Gable when he kept, Grande. He's like, oh yeah, just call me Captain Grande. These guys are great, but I don't blame them for not wanting to get new stuff they could share.
You know what I would rather see JC Mateo in a match than see?
What?
Please tell me. Okay, I'm going to try and put this together calmly.
Oh boy, Jesus, here we go.
Try and put this together calmly. I did a podcast.
Yes.
Not too long ago, and it was a positive podcast saying we don't need Evolution 2 because the women's division is doing like better than ever.
Yeah, Evolution was only needed because of how it was viewed at that point. It was
exactly.
Give Divas a chance era.
Yeah, plus they were counteracting the effects of no women being in Saudi at the time.
Yes. It was amazing.
They're doing Evolution 2. Fine, it is what it is. I'm not against them doing it. My stance that we don't need it still stands, but it's going to be the third show of a 3-show weekend, and people will have already spunked themselves over All Out, or All In rather.
It'll be a good show, I think. But
I think it'll okay. Whether or not I think it's going to be a good show is an entirely separate conversation from whether we need it or not. But this is not my point. My point is part of us not needing it anymore is because I think the women's division is in a good spot. We are loaded with stars. We are loaded with talent. They showed up and showed out tonight on both shows with the women's tag on the AAA show with the Money in the Bank. When you look forward to next year and what next year's women's Royal Rumble could look like, it better main event the show, right?
You would like to hope so.
So tell me something.
I don't imagine.
Jake, I want you to tell me something, right?
Yes.
Get out the crayons and explain this to me like I'm 5.
All right. Let's get this.
Why in the ever-loving fuck do we need Amber Heard in wrestling form, Nikki Bella, back on our televisions in 2 days?
Well, you see, John Cena is going to be there, and she called Triple H and was like, remember what Vince did that time where you walked in the office and you saw him shitting on my forehead? And I was like, you owe me one? Well, guess what? John's going to be there, and I want him to meet my husband. That's amazing to me. Artemis, whatever the hell, Bella. And I want him to go ahead and meet John and make him look like a bitch. That's why she's showing up. I mean, that's the real reason. She wants to try and cuck John out and fuck her husband in front of him, but
that's really gross.
John likes to watch too. He's a little weird, but it's part of his house rules. He's like, if you bang in my house, I'm watching.
And she borrows vegan underwear from her sister. But why though? Why? At this point, the whole reason. Okay. One of the more unique WrestleMania matches we've ever had, because there was a time where the ladies didn't have a lot of time to play with, and if you didn't have a title, you weren't getting on the show.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's all there was to it. You either had to be in. The women's champ wasn't defended for 6 years. It was a long time too.
But here's my thing: if you didn't have a title and you still got on the show, you must have done something right, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the Bellas versus AJ Lee and Paige?
Vaguely.
But no, I'm saying you remember it happened.
Yes, that was at what, 32?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
My point being, that match happened to sort of symbolize, here's some really awesome wrestlers, here's some divas.
Yes.
We're walking away from this, and we're going to try and do this. So why would we go backwards? Why?
I don't know. There's a lot of decisions that I'm kind of baffled by, that I'm like, as bad as my head hurts, it only makes my head hurt worse. Like, I cannot figure out why The Rock ends up being such a hypocrite. Why do they have just these terrible, terrible, terrible ideas? Like, I had to kill a little bit. Sorry, guys.
But Jake, they go from shitting on the company to trying to get back on the show, to shitting on the company, to trying to get back on the show. Here's the thing, because the other example I used when I talked about Evolution the other week, right? We don't need anybody to come back. We don't need the Bellas, and we don't need Ronda Rousey to come back either, because it was Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey that main evented Evolution.
Ronda Rousey's coming back, my friend, and she'll be here sooner than later. So
okay,
I wouldn't. Here's my thing. I wouldn't put too much talking to that not coming.
But again, if she has some like spectacle, whatever you want to call it, like exhibition is the word I'm looking for. If she has some random exhibition match with somebody, like Ronda Rousey takes on Rhea Ripley and they just punch each other for a while, right? Yeah. It won't be that bad. It'll be bad because people have certain opinions of Ronda Rousey. It'll be bad because, oh, she's coming to take somebody else's spot, blah, 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 blah. But they're not going to lay a turd in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Nikki Bella, all she
might
does is lay turds in the ring.
She might. She'll leave it in the bedroom on the mattress, and then she'll go from there and leave it anywhere else she feels like. So
just why? Like so many steps forward, 2 steps back, right?
Yeah, constantly.
Like it's not gonna kill it. It is gonna make me say why. Like a lot.
Yeah,
our
definitely.
Truth son called out Triple H saying "Stop the cap" when he said it was all part of the show.
Yeah, he said that. Hey, it's all just it's part of the ride. Take it and dig it.
So our Truth son said "Stop the cap" to Triple H.
Yeah. See, so I think it was he got really fired, and they just tried to make it seem like it was a storyline. I think that's what happened. They have some amazing photos on WWE.com from the Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm going to put them up in a second, but holy hell. They really went above and beyond with some of these photos. I'll give them that much. They got some great shots. I'm
sorry. It probably makes me a shit person. I'm like, it's still funny to me.
Oh, hey, no, I'm not arguing that point. Absolutely. But Naomi winning it doesn't feel great. Not with how they were supposed to go ahead and have us end the night or, end the match. It felt like they were building towards something. And with this, it's not, oh, I know I'll get hit with the brace thing. I'll get hit with but that has nothing to do with it. It's just strictly her. I don't get the character. I get Pigeon Lady more than I get anything that's going on with this bullshit. I don't know. It's just
there was literally like 5 more exciting options.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many things that really could be utilized right now and could have been so much better, but I don't know. I'm telling you, that's what they decide to do, and doesn't always make sense, but that's what happens. So let's go ahead and add some of this stuff in here. There we go. Where is it all? I hate it when I can't find stuff when I go ahead and download shit. Look at that. You got that one. You got that one.
I just saw this. I don't know if you guys can find it online or whatever, but they asked Triple H how come it took so long to do Evolution 2, and his answer was the time wasn't right, and now it is. Go fuck. I so badly want him to just turn around and say, because I'm in charge, not you. The show goes on when I say it goes on.
Yeah,
and then all the people that can't take that will eat themselves.
And they'll just be done for. They'll cannibalize their own.
It's so bad, man. Like, it's you can't fire people. Well, they can.
Yeah, they can if they want to.
The other one that kills me, and like Jake, you and I have done this before. The whole like people are not automatically evil just because they have more money than you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you can renew everybody. You have money.
You can dislike them greatly because they have funds. Like it doesn't,
Yeah. No, but the argument is like when they decided not to re-up Carlito, they decided not to re-up Sarah Logan. I'm bummed they didn't re-up Sarah Logan. I think Sarah Logan's really cool. But the whole like, well, they should just re-up everybody. They've got the money. And it's like somebody else having money doesn't mean you're entitled to it.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not COVID.
You don't owe the world.
You have other places to go.
Exactly.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that the truth thing was a work. I'm glad that idiots got worked.
It may not be a work. I don't think I'm telling you right now, we're going to hear eventually that it's not really a work, that he got fired and then they had to react to the outcry and outpouring of support and people threatening to not buy tickets and stuff, because it's not just the usual vocal minority on Twitter that get loud and the few stories on Instagram. This broke like the internet. People had him trending #1 for 70 something hours straight. Like our truth was deeply loved.
And you know what? Cora Jade trended for a day. And you know what? Like,
I'm not. But there's a different degree between Cora Jade and everybody else let go, because our truth is
Dakota
far
Kai
beyond
trended
that,
for a couple of days. Like,
you can't compare that though.
But I'm saying, like, if they become slaves to Twitter, nothing's ever gonna happen.
But they
and
trended for their answers, like Cora Jade, Alana Black. She went ahead and she trended because not only did she start an OnlyFans, but she went ahead and she talked about a lot of like the body shaming she dealt with and the bullying behind the scenes and those type of things. And that's more drama, so people want to hear that. But she didn't go viral as in we need to see her perform. We need to see her again.
I'm now going to body shame myself.
Exactly. And
don't get me wrong. I like Cora Jade, but she's talking out of both sides of her mouth.
Yes, it's all bullshit because
it's not a shade. Like and before anybody gets on my case, if you want to go start an OnlyFans, do it. I don't care.
If you want to get breast implants, do it. Just don't lie and say it's a knee injury because
it's no shade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, like.
But here's the thing.
You get into a slightly different thing there. If somebody's gone from WWE, like, we don't need to know why they're gone.
No,
like,
we don't.
The whole idea that we need to know why they're gone at all was something created by the Dirt Sheets because they want something to report.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you lied. I don't care if you lied about why you were gone, because why you're gone is not really my business. Like,
yeah. No,
okay,
I
went to get a boob job, so I told everybody I had a broken foot. I don't care because it's not my business in the first place.
Yeah, but if you're paying her, a lot of money to sit home and get tattoos while you're supposed to be, that's the problem. I don't know the details of it yet. We'll look into it more as the weekend comes through tomorrow. But I genuinely did like Money in the Bank. Worlds Collide was a lot of fun. It was a glorified house show as we expected. Nothing, but
it was a good introduction.
World-altering. But yes, it was a great introduction to Lucia and to the different players.
You've seen a bit of AAA before.
Yes, very briefly, not much, but yeah.
So
I shouldn't say that. I've watched a good deal. Yeah,
I've never seen a single minute of AAA. I saw the highlight packages that people posted of the Alberto El Patron versus Vikingo match from last week.
Yeah.
And that was the first and my first reaction was, wow, they look like they're in a really cool building, which shoots down my location argument from earlier.
Yeah.
But other than that, it only had to do with people that I had seen in other places. Like, I've seen Vikingo in AEW and in TNA. I've seen Laredo Kid in TNA. I've seen Octagon in TNA.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like, this was a brand new group of people to me. And like I say, I'm not familiar with them like you are. So I see gimmicks like Psycho Clown and Pagano, and I'm like, okay,
and
this
that
is right
excites
up my
you. That's enough. That goes right to your alley.
I'm like, this is cool. I'll go down this rabbit hole. I'll hang out with the Boogeyman and Kevin Thorne. It's fine.
Just don't laugh, or
it.
Jim Cornette to slap you. Cody, what was your favorite stuff from the night? What did you enjoy the most?
I really liked the Becky and Lyra match.
Boom.
The men's Money in the Bank was decent. Jacob Fatu turning on Solo.
Yeah, that was fun.
Liked.
Absolutely.
Naomi, I'm not going to criticize or anything yet. I'm going to see how that goes. But again, I think Roxanne should have won. That made the most sense.
Yeah.
Going match by match here.
Yeah, I get it.
My brain's rotted.
The Dom versus Octagon match is next.
Yeah, that Dom versus Octagon. That was a really good match.
That was great.
Didn't go too long, but
no, it went just long enough.
It
put Dom over, made him look like an even better champion, defending his title in like an open
It was
forum.
an impromptu match.
Yeah, that he was able just to take the match and be like, "Fuck it, I'll do it," and that's why they had them show up earlier. I'm a fan of
showcase.
it. Yeah, it was perfectly well done. And we said we started with the women's, obviously, and then started with the women's and ended with the men's. And
you know what's funny?
Seth Rollins wins, and then John Cena got pinned, surprisingly, to finish the night.
I was gonna say, the funny thing about this is we talked about the R-Truth return. We haven't said much about the main event tag, and that says a lot, I think.
Yeah, because none of us are talking about that. We were just talking.
It just was what it was.
Yeah.
Logan Paul had a good few spots. He's a spot merchant, so
Yeah.
Logan Paul really likes playing with his drones.
I was just gonna say he loves playing with his toys, huh? Because those drones must be.
I wasn't a fan
of
him holding up his phone or camera, whatever he had going on.
Yeah, the drone that he was holding
for the entrance.
For the top rope spot where he got.
See, okay, that's an interesting
I think
one
that
because
works. Yeah, I liked it.
As a one-off idea, don't do it again. Like
but
him
he's
having
holding it while getting it to. I don't know if
I'm okay. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good, but I am saying
I know this
I'm
much.
saying like he's used the drone in the entrances before. That's not new anymore. For him to he's done the whole thing before with the selfie thing where I'm gonna do a jump, watch me go. Right?
Yeah.
It's different for him to have the camera. For him to have the camera in his hand as he's having a match done to him and another match or sorry, as he's having a move done to him and another.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool perspective for us to get once. I don't need to do
I don't
it.
know
You don't need it 100 times, no.
Because he's just gonna hold it out shoot the shot, but he could be using that as a weapon.
Yeah.
Instead, but he's using it as another angle just to get the shot of the move done to him in.
Yeah,
which makes it look forced a little.
To get technical, if he had used it as a weapon, they could have gotten disqualified.
Yeah, go figure.
Oh well, that's true, but he could have dropped it then.
Yeah.
Himself.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here trying to say that it makes a lick of sense.
Yeah.
Because just thought it makes him look like he was willingly gonna let the move be done to him. Because
Exactly. That's why I'm not saying it doesn't make a lick of sense. I just thought from a visual point of view, it was a cool thing to do once. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Just the once. That's it. Never
separate
repeat.
the cool shot from the logic of the shot. That's two separate things.
Just go ahead and keep it that way. Nothing.
But the whole idea of the selfie entrance thing, that goes back to Tyler Breeze in NXT days.
No shit.
That's not the new cool thing that they pretend it is.
It's not.
Yeah, I remember that Tyler Breeze. That was his whole shtick.
And I'm saying that as a guy that actually likes Logan Paul.
I liked Tyler Breeze back in NXT too. I liked when he even came back, and I liked him and Breezango, doing the cop thing. That was funny. They had moments.
The Fashion Files.
Yes.
Fashion Police.
Yep. That was funny. They had moments.
I like Lindsay Dorado
genius,
coming in to replace Joaquin Wilde at the last minute there. I didn't. I said it in the preview.
Nice.
I wasn't aware that he was a trainer.
Dorado.
Lindsay Dorado was in the LWO.
Yep.
Because it was supposed to be Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro.
Does he work for AAA or what's he doing?
No, he's
apparently he's a trainer in the PC for NXT.
For a while
I just
now.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Neither did I.
I didn't know it till this weekend, actually. So
that's kind of cool spot for WWE.
Probably were like, we'll throw you in a extra few bucks in your paycheck.
Exactly. Here, we'll let you in, and you can go ahead and do this. Can you sink or swim? By the way, you got to train these, ring monkeys. Let's go.
Well, there's quite a if you think about it, I'm not surprised that he is, because if you think about Javon Evans is the prime example, but if you think about how many high flyers they have in NXT right now, it kind of makes sense that one of their trainers is a luchador.
I believe that. Yeah, it makes total sense.
It's kind of cool to be able to say, oh, we've randomly pulled out this person and it's Lindsay Dorado. Whereas if they did it on SmackDown, the random person that they pull from the back would be Road Dog.
I didn't really watch much of World lie though. Should I go back and watch it? Because
I would.
I saw the clip of Dominic's promo and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would definitely.
I would go back
out.
and watch it. The point that I was trying to make a second ago, sort of differentiating between myself and Jake, as somebody who has never watched any AAA before, I thought this was an awesome like introduction.
Yeah.
They didn't
overluce it at all. They didn't do like where they're running the ropes all the time and they're flipping. And then most times when they did dives and shit, it made sense. Most of the guys weren't, quails huddled together to catch them. Like they were together, but they didn't look like they were just standing there waiting. There was one they did, but the rest were all well executed. Everything tonight, even the silly stuff, was believable.
They did a bunch of like, here's the history of like in like 2 or 3 minute clips of like, this is how AAA started. These were the people involved. We've got Triple Mania coming up. This is what Triple Mania means to us. Each person that you saw that wasn't a WWE person got like a little bit of like their own video package put into the match video package,
which is nice. Showcase your stars and bring them out as much as you can. Make people know who you're working with.
You had Conan on commentary with Corey. Corey Graves sounded like he was having a blast.
He was having a blast. Yeah. What sucked is Conan was he was drinking fentanyl out of a cup. Like he was like I said before, he was out of his mind with some of it. Like I have a bad migraine. My eyes are all, fucked up and goofy from it. This guy couldn't see out of his right eye and hear out of his left ear permanently. The shit that came out of his mouth, I was waiting him to, pull the Vampiro. Where's my music? I need my fucking music. Just that thing was a disaster. Like
the setup was really simple too. Like small screens, big crowd. Small screens, big crowd. The ring didn't have a bunch of the advertising that other people are so upset about. It just had the WWE logo and the
it didn't bother
AAA
me,
logo.
Really. Yeah.
I will say,
to me, I was whatever. I'll keep
talking about nitpicky things.
Yeah.
I've come to the conclusion, and I thought this at the Raw Netflix debut, and it was reinforced to me tonight. I kind of hate the Intuit Dome.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of it, and
I love the halo that they have. I love the halo that they have in the ceiling
for the screens. That's cool, but
the
seating
stuff in the seat, it's weird, and the lights, the way the lights are, it makes it look like there's nobody there.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, but I look at the crowd shots and it makes me think Thunderdome.
Yeah, it has that look to it. You nailed it.
I was thinking the same thing as sometimes with the lights.
Especially in the Hell in a Cell match.
I like
it's already hard enough to get you to see, and now you got to deal with that nonsense. Yeah.
I think the lights are a cool concept, but it does actually make it look like less people are there.
If you want to integrate it into somebody's entrance for somebody that has a really good entrance, do it for that one person, but don't have them on during the matches. I will say the one thing that I saw at the AAA show, the crowd wasn't very lit up. Like it seemed to me like the crowd was a bit darker, which is like, I'm getting into like the super nitpicky stuff. You had the dark crowd for the one show and you had the crowd that was oddly lit for the other show. So it was a weird day for how's the crowd doing. And then you had the crowd that was just bigger than they expected at the TNA show the night before. So good for them on that as well. Yeah. I don't have a number for the TNA show, but it looks like they had a pretty full house.
I heard they were sold out, so we'll try and get that as well. But I mean, out of everybody that participated, I feel like the right person won for the men because I didn't want Seth to win, but you have to look at it like, all right, they're the new super group. They're the new top bad guys on Raw. Why are people afraid of him? Oh, because they can fuck over the champion at any time. That kind of, they need a threatening demeanor. They need a new theme song for the group of them that isn't and Owen for the crowd to sing along. You don't want the crowd to be happy that you're there. We need resistance,
You don't want to have the a Judas effect per se.
No, exactly, my friend. So
it's one of the few things I can actually give AEW credit for. Like they know people like to sing along with Judas, so they gave him the different song when he became the learning tree.
You nailed it. They didn't write it first either. That took a little bit, and that was the same criticism. So I hope they do this.
I think Jericho should just come be the new GM of NXT.
They upgraded Stephanie's entrance again. They're going to keep tweaking it for weeks now.
Yep.
Watch, just like they do with Pentas and Phoenixes. They're going to add stuff and take away because she had the pyro on Monday. That was awesome. It was like a thunderclap, and then the pyro went off. So Yeah, looking back,
she's going to be at the by Mania. She's going to either have a title or be the Rumble winner, I think.
Yeah, because I was there in 2019 and we had Bayley win the briefcase, and then she cashed in on SmackDown. That you know, not on SmackDown Women's Champ Charlotte. She did it the same night where she won, because Charlotte won her, defended her title, and then Bayley cashed in the same night she won the briefcase. So we got to see a cool cash in, but Brock Lesnar won the men's event without even being on the on the match card. So that was some bullshit. And
I'm sorry, that's still not as funny as the first what was it? The first SmackDown on Fox.
Oh,
Cody or not Cody Rhodes, Kofi Kingston versus
9
Brock
seconds,
Lesnar.
yeah.
Yep.
Or 6 seconds, whatever it was. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. And
had a good time on Twitter that night too.
Yeah, well, we've been having a good time on Twitter because we've been going through the history of stuff and all whatnot. So it's cool once we get rid of some of the trolls. We're having fun over there. So make sure you guys are following us on Twitter and Instagram as well. But
we have all the social medias.
Yeah, they're in the description box down below. Make sure you're checking everybody out and following the links. Please make sure you guys are subscribed. Click the like button. Make sure you hit that bell to know when we're going to be live next. We'll be live Monday night for the Raw review. It's the Raw after Money in the Bank, so we got to see what's going down. Now we got R-Truth back, we got to find out what the hell is this? What do they have planned? Is he going to come out and cut a big-ass promo? Maybe. We got to see. We got to see what happens. But any other takeaways from tonight, guys? I mean, when I go through and I think about all the matches, what do you got?
Because it's rumored that the last person to come up from NXT for a while is going to be Jordynne Grace. It would be really funny if Becky Lynch is cutting her victory promo and the person to cut her off is Jordynne Grace.
That would be hilariously great. And you know what? It's interesting because Mariah May is another one. Supposedly, she's getting her name changed, like Saints. So everyone's like, May June or something. It's like, come on,
Mariah May is going to be Julie June. I told you this already.
Yep, I know. Mariah Mayfield. People say like it doesn't. Whatever. The name is besides that. But
I don't care.
Apparently, her contract is the same idea of what Julia and Stephanie got, which is more money than a typical NXT contract, almost by double. But they don't keep you long on
with the idea that you're not going to be there very long.
Yes, exactly. Because they can't take you out of, AAA or New Japan or wherever, AEW, and you're making $500,000 there. And now they're going to pull you in. Oh, you're going to NXT. You're going to make $125,000 a year. Why would you leave then? It's
but the bigger story, and I know you and I didn't get to do much this week as far as like live reaction and stuff like that because life came and kicked you in the face.
It did.
But the bigger the little things will sort themselves out. The bigger thing is Mariah May finally got called up from AEW.
Yes. And I like the way they handled it. She got such a great reaction. That crowd did not know what to do, how to react. They were just like ecstatic the entire time. I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. She deserves that. She absolutely deserves it. And she's worked very hard. They mishandled her greatly when she was the Owen Hart winner and then she turned on Tony. I mean, we still don't know why she turned because she had the match already. So it was just baffling. Really.
I think when it comes to the Owen Hart tournament, I think the more disrespectful thing was what they did this year.
Yeah.
In the sense of you've got a show that's partially dedicated to the memory of Owen Hart, and it ends with "Let the bodies hit the floor." What are we doing here?
Yeah, that was pretty piss poor.
That's not good.
Yeah, let's check out her debut. You can hear the crowd reacting just nuts, absolutely nuts. Yeah, I mean, she got that hellacious welcoming. I mean, that was so loud for the Performance Center. I was blown away. Ricky Saints is definitely called up. He was another one with a short, higher paying contract. It's been that way for quite a few people now, where they've gotten their money, and they're not staying long. So we'll see what comes of it. But I'm excited for NXT. The women's division is extremely strong still. They lost two talents.
May thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, what goes under the radar with the Mariah May thing? I'm happy to see Mariah May. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think she was kind of hamstrung and this isn't a dig at AEW, but she was basically tied to one person her entire time there. So I hope they mix her up with a bunch of people. But what nobody's talking about now,
it seems like it's just gonna be Tony and Mercedes for the next 6 weeks. So
oh, good. And then Tony's gonna get buried. It's fine.
Yep.
But that whole thing
6
started.
seconds.
It was basically like JC Jane came out to talk about being the new champion, and then she was interrupted by 100 people, and it was capped off by Mariah May, and that's what people remember.
Yeah.
People sort of let it fall by the wayside before she got interrupted by the first couple of people that came down the ramp. JC Jane was cutting a pretty damn good championship.
She was
promo.
doing really good controlling the crowd. They tried to cut her off and what her, and she just broke cadence and told them to shove it. You can't get behind me now. You know, you've been against me and booing me this whole time, and now you're cheering me. Get the fuck out of here was her attitude. I loved it. She came across
I'd like
great,
to get behind her.
Right? And that's the problem with Lyra. Lyra's not believable. You don't believe that she hates Becky and Becky. It's not there. But this, JC, she voiced everything she really felt because she has been a jobber for a long time. She's lost almost every match she's been a part of. And now, finally, the girls work together after all that dissension. It was like, yes, we have a chance. And then she wins the title. So it was a really cool result to see. And it shook up the women's division exponentially. There's a lot to look forward to, and there's even more to be excited about. There's a ton of great women there. There's a ton of great guys. There's a lot of big plans for weapons. So, let's go ahead and take down the barbed wire, baby, because we're going to go ahead and go hardcore.
Really, really, really sounds like we need Nikki Bella.
Yeah, we do. We do indeed. You know what else we need? Is me to get some sleep. So, Cody, tell everybody where they can find you, my good man, please.
You can find me over on my Twitter or X, or whatever we're calling it nowadays. My brain's rotted too. At Judgment Day Era. And you can find me over on my Instagram at Cody_Onidi_316.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll have our next episode of Guilty or Guilt Free next Sunday. We'll be doing an Into Somewhere short tomorrow, covering the latest news. And Spaz, tell the people where they can find you, my good man.
Well, first of all, keep supporting Jake. He's doing all the fucking live streams, and he's outworking me by 10 at this point, I think. Shout out to Cody as well. Always nice to chat with you.
Absolutely.
As far as myself, at Spaz Phoenix on Instagram, at Spaz Phoenix on X, and search Spaz Phoenix podcast on Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify, Rumble, and YouTube. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. We gave you the the big bubble there to go ahead and put that
Got
through.
a lot of big bubbles, but
So
the doctor says it's going to go away soon.
Last time I blew bubbles, he left town. That fucking clown. So
that wasn't a real clown.
That's where kayfabe went. I knew it. Goddamn Donald Trump duck. It's a jinx. It's like the Sonichu necklace. No, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Money in the Bank and
this is falling off.
Worlds Collide. We've gone into somewhere indeed. My eyes are ready to explode out of their head. If you look on the camera, the bags are just. It's brutal, but we're still going strong. 1 a.m. You guys have been great. Thank you to everyone in the chat for hitting the like button, hitting subscribe, hanging out with us. It's been a ton of fun. We're going to be live again Monday night for the Raw review and have a really cool hangout. I am ready, Colton Whittington. I am ready for Raw on Monday. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait for Monday after Money in the Bank. We got to see, does Jey Uso defend his title successfully, or is Gunther the new champ? Again, Cody, Spaz, thank you both. I hope everybody has a great night. Stay sexy, and we'll see you into somewhere.